Yes, welcome back to DR Sports, another edition of the Saturday Football Show with myself, AGT. We've got Fuad, we've got Manchester United fan, Kojo in the house, and as always, our resident Chelsea fan, Tom is in the building. It's 2:30, it's a Saturday. It's that time of the week that you've all been looking forward to. It's the Saturday Football Show. Welcome back. Make sure you smash that like button, comment with your thoughts on the Tottenham game and obviously all the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We've got Arsenal taking on Fulham, Brentford, Crystal Palace. And obviously we've got Everton, Wolves and Man United, Forrest as well. Tottenham now top of the league. I think.
Stop the count! Stop the count! Yo, we can end the league right here. It's all good. Like COVID. Stop the count.
Anyway, we are going to be speaking about Tottenham's very impressive 2-0 away win under Ange Postecoglou down at the South Coast. But welcome back. It's been an interesting week in the world of football. Loads of topics to come throughout the show, so make sure you're getting involved with us in the comments. We love a very interactive audience letting us know what to talk about and if our opinions stink or not. But it's good to have you back, Kojo. It's been a while.
Been a while, yeah.
Is this your Saturday Football Show debut?
It is indeed.
It is
well
indeed. Congrats. You're sitting with the big boys.
Legends.
I'm only joking. Great to have Fuad back as always. He's busy tweeting about how good Tottenham are right now.
Listen, I'm not used to this feeling.
I'll come back to you.
Please, listen, it's good to be here. It's good to be here. Another Saturday.
Tom, still reeling after the performance last night. You were there, 3-0 at home to Luton.
Had my moment in the sun yesterday. It was first home win since March, baby.
Wow. Ooh.
I know.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
I know that one felt good.
It's a long time.
It was just a second goal went in, and I'm just like, we might actually win a game of football.
Yeah, and we'll speak about the re-rise maybe of Raheem Sterling later on in the show as well. But as I mentioned, great football to watch today. We've also got the Manchester United Nottingham Forest game kicking off at 3 o'clock. Can we get some team news, boys?
Absolutely.
How do all of these teams line up? Once we've got through that,
Absolutely.
we'll get into the comments.
I'll start with United, of course. They're at home. Onana in goal. Wan-Bissaka, right back. Centre backs are Varane and Martinez. With Shaw and Malacia both out, Dalot will go left back. Wow. Casemiro and Eriksen together in midfield as Mason Mount is out for a couple of weeks. Marcus Rashford on the left, Bruno Fernandes in the middle as a number 10. Everyone's favourite right midfielder, Anthony on the right. And the return of, once in a blue moon, Anthony Martial up front for Manchester United.
Anthony Martial up front for Manchester United. Is it 2015?
Yeah.
It might as well be.
Might as well be indeed.
Nottingham Forest, though, have looked decent this season. So
Yep.
let's see how they line up at Old Trafford as well.
They've got Matt Turner in goal, obviously just joined from Arsenal. Willie Bowley, Joe Worrell and Scott McKenna.
Right.
They've got wing backs in Serge Aurier and Olaina. And the midfield two are Ryan Yates and Danilo. And maybe front three, maybe 2 behind the 1. Morgan Gibbs White, Brennan Johnson and Taiwo Awoniyi.
You know what? That's a dangerous front three. It's an underrated front three. I think Awoniyi has really shown. I think it's 6 in a row he scored.
Yes,
now.
he is, yeah.
So he'll be hoping to add to that. At Old Trafford, the relegation scrap battle on the 3rd game of the season. Everton versus Wolves. This is a 6-pointer for both teams. Tom, how do we line up at Goodison Park today?
Well, I actually had the Emirates, but I can certainly get you Goodison Park.
We'll
We've got Everton lining up in a bit of a 4-1-4-1, kind of 4-3-3 hybrid. Pickford in goal, Patterson at right back, Jared Branthwaite and James Tarkowski in the middle. Ashley Young at left back, which at his stellar old age, I think of 39. Idrissa Gueye,
not so young,
as the DM, and Amadou Onana and Abdoulaye Doucouré in the midfield. And then you've got James Garner, Arnaut Danjuma, and I think it'll be Lewis Dobbin up front.
Lewis Dobbin?
Youngster.
Front. Wow.
But,
I thought Ellis Sims left on loan, didn't he?
No, he left permanently, I think, in the summer,
But he was their guy if you know, DCL and weren't there, they call on him.
Lost
Lewis
Potter,
Dobbin,
which is pretty much every week.
Mad. Up front today for Everton at home. Massive opportunity for him. Brentford versus Crystal Palace, a West London versus a South
Do you want the Wolves
East
team?
London derby. Let's go. Sorry.
Any Wolves fans watching? I just thought you might fancy your team.
They've probably turned off now. Let's
After
see.
the start they've had.
Well,
They've
exactly.
got Jose Sarr in goal. They've got Bueno and Semedo as centre backs, as full backs rather. Craig Dawson and Max Kilman in the middle. Midfield of Joao Gomez and Mario Lamina. And then Pedro Neto, Hwang Hee-chan, and Mateus Cunha with Fabio Silva up top.
They need goals. Desperate. Both teams do. There's no point in hiding it. Both teams are absolutely craving a bit of goal mouth action. So how does that one finish? We'll go through all the predictions after the team news. Should we go to the Emirates?
We can go to the Emirates.
We'll go to the Emirates.
Yeah.
Arsenal,
lineup
massive
here.
game for them today as well.
Yes.
Who do
Got
they got?
Ramsdale in goal, Saliba, Ben White, Kivior comes in today, and Partey as a back four. And then midfield of Odegaard, Havertz, and Declan Rice. And then up front they've gone Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard coming in today.
Saka, Martinelli, Trossard. Interesting.
And then for Fulham, you've got former Arsenal player Bernd Leno in goal, Kenny Tete, Bassi, Diop, and Robinson as a back four. Midfield three of Palhinha, Lukic, and Pereira. And then a front line of Raúl Jimenez, Harry Wilson, and Bobby De Cordova-Reid.
Nice.
So familiar lineup for Fulham, and then one or two changes in the Arsenal lineup, which
sure.
I think Kivior coming in, he showed flashes last year in the back end of the
Left back,
season,
he'll be today.
possibly at left back today. Obviously, I think
6'1", 6'5", is he?
I don't know about a 6'5", but tall. He's a centre back anyway.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
obviously with Tierney, I think having agreed to deal with Sociedad now.
Yeah. Love that.
And then
Weird move though.
last
huh?
week they had, was it Saka in the second half slot in there at
Yeah,
one point. So
yeah.
it's a bit of an emergency scenario there. But Kivior coming in
6'2".
today. Partey carrying on at right back is an interesting one. Obviously he's been slotting into that inverted midfield role, if you like. So we'll see if that carries on today.
Again.
Yeah.
Well, from
He's
the
not
red
in.
card.
Oh, he was red carded.
Yeah,
Yes, of
he's-
course.
he's-
2 yellows.
he-
Yes.
Farcical red card that, and that's
Yeah,
coming from
yeah.
a Chelsea fan. Like,
Can't
Hey.
overturn 2 yellow cards.
Game is the
though.
game.
How you absolutely con the referee.
The game
but
is the
there you
game,
go.
B.
There
You
you
know
go.
what I'm
You
saying?
got
And
to
we will
run
be
the game.
speaking
Trossard
about
coming
some
in today as well.
certain admissions from referees in the game this week. I think that's important to talk about. As I said, loads of topics to get through. One more for you then. Let's go to Brentford. How do they line up there at the G-Tech Stadium? Great stadium, that.
I've got it here. So we've got Mark Flecken in goal, Rico Henry on the left, Aaron Hickey on the right, Nathan Collins and Ethan Pinnock in the middle. Very familiar midfield. I think I've read the same midfield every show I've been on. Jensen, Norgard and Vitaly Janelt. And then a front three of Mbemo, Wissa and Sade. And then for Crystal Palace, another pretty familiar team, actually, I think, from their first couple of game weeks. Sam Johnston in goal, Tyrek Mitchell, Gay, Joachim Anderson, Joel Ward, Jefferson Lerma, Sheikh Doucouré in midfield. Then you've got Jordan Ayew, Jeffrey Schlupp, Eberiche Eze, and then Odzon Edouard as a number 9.
Nice, well read out. Would love a bit of Sheikh Doucouré still at Liverpool. It looks like that's gone a little bit quiet. Let's get some predictions then we'll fly into the comments. Arsenal, Fulham. Kojo, we go with you first.
Yeah, I think Arsenal going to get a comprehensive win at home. I'm going to give them a 4-1 win.
4-1.
Yeah, I think on the preview show I went 4-0 as well. I'm favouring them to go heavy on Fulham. I think last season we saw 3-0 away
Yeah.
in the back end. I don't think Fulham looked the same as they did last year, and I think up front they're definitely missing something. Mitrovic.
Raul
So.
Jimenez yet to score as well.
Yeah,
he
so-
needs to score for obviously his own confidence coming into the team. But now without Mitrovic, pretty much rests on him, doesn't it?
Yeah,
to
indeed.
bang in the goals. So, what did you go with again?
All right, I went 4-0.
4-0. I'll go 3-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, Fulham, my tip to go down at the start of this season.
Oh,
Is that,
interesting.
Southwest London rivalry.
No, it's second season syndrome,
Right.
I think.
Okay.
I called Sheffield United going down after the Chris Wilder season, but I'm going to say 2-0. I think they'll make it hard for Arsenal, but they won't come away with anything today.
Okay, interesting. Let's go Brentford, Crystal Palace. Scores on the doors.
I think Brentford continue their good form. I think Brentford come away with a 2-0 win over Palace.
I got 1-1 draw. I think the theme of these two teams when they play each other every time, I think, has been a draw. But you always seem to think one of them could nick a result.
Yeah.
But I'll go 1-1 today.
Okay, I'll go 2-1 Brentford.
I'm gonna call a draw as well. I'm gonna say 2-2. We'll differ it to Fuad a little bit, but people talk about Brentford overachieving, but maybe Palace under good old Roy Hodgson overachieving at the
Oi,
moment.
oi.
Should have got a point against Arsenal, I think. And
Everton Wolves.
Both teams don't know how to score, so we're going to go for a 2-2 draw here. I'm going to find their shooting boots today, but it won't be any of the strikers, because never is.
A couple of own goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm predicting a bore draw here, to be fair. Two teams struggling to score. I'm going 0-0.
I actually was going to say 2-2 as well, so I'll stick with that.
Battle of the Busted. Two teams favourites to go down, I'd say, at the moment. I'm going to say 3-1 Everton. I think Dyche is going to get something today.
They almost have to.
Yeah.
But who's scoring those goals if they're getting 3? You said 2 as well.
I look at it and I look through their team. I think they've got enough quality. I mean, Danjuma is probably overdue a goal in English football. I don't know if he did get one for Spurs.
No.
Dobbin, youngster, maybe he can get
Day
one.
for him.
You never know.
Manchester United, Forrest.
Boy.
I go 2-1 United. I think this is a must-win for United, and I think sometimes when backs against the wall, United, they actually tend to turn it up in a weird way. So I actually think today, at home as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
It is, yeah.
Their home record is usually
It's quite
one of
good.
the things they can actually lean on. So I'm expecting, listen, go and get the result.
Yeah, we've got a good record at home. It's just the form is a bit shaky. We look very I don't know what to use for me these days. So many words could use, none of them good. But I don't want to repeat of the Wolves' performance. Basically, I'm going to try and say I'm going to go 3-0 Man United. I'm going to put confidence in the team today to go and get a W.
3-0 Manchester United.
Yeah.
I will go 3-1 United.
I'm going to go 1-0. Even though everything you guys have said is right, that Ten Hag gets a result when he really needs it, every time at United. I don't know, I feel Nottingham Forest are looking a better team this season. And I think they're going to come away with a point.
All right, well, let us know what your predictions are in the comments, of course. Let's dive into the comments, see what we got. Big up to Siwa Fiwi, who says Spurs are cooking. And again, we'll get into a little bit of a review of the game that we've just seen there. Great game for James Maddison, as we know. Ange winning the league, says XA. Danjuma can play up front, says ADAJ. AGT, big fan. Try and get James Redmond back on the MOP TV. Big up, says Dom. It's COP TV, mate, not MOP. It's not a cleaning channel. But yeah, shout out to you. And James is always welcome whenever he wants. X would go mad if he sees that scorecard, says Jimu. And a nice win for the Spurs today. Let's keep going, says Good Beats Entertainment. And a few predictions are coming through as well. Let's have a little look. Richarlison scored yet? Question mark. Raymond says, let's talk about the Spurs game then. Good performance in terms of clean sheet, away from home, early kickoff. Maddison finally off the mark. Kulusevski getting a goal to maybe show you how important he can be to you during the season. Maddison's talking now, the vice captain. Not really much to be aggrieved with at all there, really, for Tottenham.
Brother, it's my birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Perfect birthday gift, that's all I'm going to say. Thank you, Ange Postecoglou. You've rocked my world, brother. Listen,
Wow.
I can't lie to you. Saturday early
Big love.
kickoffs, are always almost like your weekend's ruined before anything's even started. And so many times I always say teams get caught with the sleep in their eyes, cobwebs in their head. Teams just come and rock up and get a result against them. We saw Bournemouth last year rocked up at our ground and got a result against us. I've said though, going into games this season, I'm not as almost nervous. I said last week going into the United game, fairly confident. I think we can get a win here. Our first home game, we should. This one again on the preview show, I said we should win 2-1. I feel like Bournemouth are still finding their feet with this new manager. We've kind of found our feet a little bit quicker, if you like. And the performance you saw today, I think from the first half especially, I think the second half I missed little bits of it because I was on the tube. But the football I was seeing, the playing out of the back, I was seeing 2 touches on the edge of the opponent's box when the first chance isn't coming. Oh, Kulusevski's able to recycle that. Maddison's able to get something. What Maddison has done to this team in coming into this, that midfield 3, I could sing their praises for the next hour here if I wanted to by themselves. Bossuma, as I call him, not Bissouma, because that brother is a boss in midfield. Pape Sarr.
Yep.
Quality.
Star boy.
Quality.
Star boy. And I don't think anybody really expected this. Spurs fans, we saw flashes in him and we saw there's ability there. But I said if Højbjerg left this year, that's our replacement ready there. And he's showing already, forget Højbjerg leaving. Even if he's here, I'm taking his place. So I'm really happy. But
And
Maddison is the one I really want to hit on, bro. For me, he is the biggest needle mover in our team because I've said for the past 3 or 4 years since Eriksen has left, this team has dried up for creativity. Harry Kane's been the main creative outlet for this team. We've had nothing else. What you've seen in the first 3 games that he's been able to come and do makes the team tick every single time. He's plating Richarlison, who's unable to finish his dinner. He's the only one I don't want to speak about today because all 10 other players.
That's not how the show works.
Exactly.
I just want to hail
That's
him out.
not
I'll be real.
how teams do it.
the rules now.
Every man to a T. Destiny.
So
Yeah, what a
before we get
player.
into that, I know there was a clip that went
Hey.
pretty nice on our socials last week about this man here saying that he predicts Udogie to be, was it top 3 top 3 left backs in the world
All time. Yeah.
of all time?
You trying to set me up there? That's crazy. I said, hey, why
That's
did
Roberto Carlos.
I'm sure they got it.
We'll play it if we get it, but listen, another good performance this week. Assist for the second goal, really tidy stuff in the penalty area from Tottenham. For the second goal, Kulusevski gets his goal as well, which sends Tottenham to the top of the table.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt these dizzying heights before?
Yeah, no, listen. Spurs have been here where up until Christmas we're competing top 3. Sky Sports do
No,
the
but
whole
I'm- no,
Spurs
there's
could
top
win
3.
something this year. No. Even there, we've been in and around there. So listen, it's not a matter of getting carried away with where we are in the league or anything like that. It's, bro, what we have seen for the past 3 or 4 years at Tottenham, for the football that we're seeing now, we're just excited with that.
And I don't
But the
blame you.
fact that our defenders can competently pass out of the back, we're like, I've never seen us act like this. I have a creative midfielder who has an eye of the needle pass. I have a set piece taker who gives me an attacking threat on set piece. Bro, we haven't
get
seen
carried
these,
away, he says,
No,
but-
but we haven't seen these things for years. So now it's like, yo, you know what? We're just enjoying the moment.
hear
Let
it.
us enjoy for a little bit.
hear it.
Are fans not supposed to enjoy their team results
Yeah.
anymore?
I hear it. No, I hear
You know what I'm saying? So
Let us know in the comments. Are fans supposed to enjoy their team's results anymore? We'll do a poll.
I had this from an Arsenal fan yesterday saying, Chelsea, you've only beat Luton. No, why are you saying you were so good? And it's like, we've won our first home game since March.
Yeah, 6 months.
Let us celebrate.
You should
for
you
heaven's
should
sake.
ask that Arsenal fan when they beat Luton how they feel. Ask them how they feel. Give them a bit of a nudge. But, hey, how you doing?
Fans, how
you doing
They
today?
beat Bournemouth last year, and
there
they
you
were
go.
saying it's written.
Yeah.
How did that turn out? So it's like, listen, the emotions
Ask
of the
them what
game is the
happened at
emotions of the
Anfield at
game. But I
half-time.
think when you talk about like the individuals in this team, Destiny you mentioned there, I said, listen, that kid, I saw him last year. Listen, Serie A is on TNT, BT Sports. You can
Other
go watch that.
broadcasters
Other
are
broadcasters
available
are available. Listen, you can go and see. And people who were watching him last year, you saw the ability. Now he's come to the Premier League. For me, it's the adaptation, how easy it's
Very
made.
attacking, man.
Physically is the thing I've always said. If you can
like it.
physically compete in the Premier League, you're going to swim. I've said that the reason why I'm saying he's going to be so good, brother, in 3 years, he's not going to be a Spurs player. I'm only raving about him now, 'cause I've only got him for the short term. You best
Already
believe
admitting
this kid is
that
headed
the kid
to the top,
is
I'm telling you.
leaving. In the comments,
To the
by the way,
top.
over 1,600 of you watching right now. We expect that to go up, of course. But make sure you smash that like button. There's only 157 likes.
It's embarrassing.
What are we playing?
What's
Do you
that?
know,
It's
that's a good
embarrassing.
way
Do you know
to
what?
describe it, Tom, because I would also say it's embarrassing. Now, we've got loads of topics to talk about. If you want us to really go into your super chat, well, we have to do though, but jump out some other comments that maybe aren't super chats. Press the like button. We're not asking for much. This is free content. I don't want to sound like I'm begging, but please, because it really does help. Big up to Andrew Aziz, AGT. Why live in Liverpool if you are constantly in London? Good question. I'll come back to you with the answer one day. Geez, my brother Papa Kojo is in the building, says a dash
Come
of
on.
sports.
Love it.
Please, love that.
Shout out to him.
Come on.
Mad is going for Man United 4, Nottingham Forest 1. AGT, you're my mate, so I won't correct you when you state your fake stats. Listen,
Is this
I've
fact-
got to get away
God,
from this
wow.
title.
Is this
It's not a
fact
good
checker
fact.
account?
Yeah, basically I dropped in a couple of dodgy stats here and there, couple times. But anyway, I'm trying to move away from that name. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, wrong show for that. How has Oliver Skip come from the Vitality Stadium to the studio so quickly?
I've got my own personal plane. I get.
No, that's a
first time I've
bad
had Oliver
shout.
Skip. First time I've had
I like
Oliver
good
Skip.
shouts, but that's a rubbish shout. Come stronger,
Oliver
Steve.
I get
Come
Odegaard
stronger, man.
more than Ollie Skip, I must say.
Yeah, you trust me, that's better.
Timo Werner I get sometimes, which is the weirdest one.
You are very blonde, aren't
A
you?
little bit.
Very blonde.
That's a tiny bit. That's a tiny bit.
Macaulay
Yeah.
Culkin
Just
more.
the hair.
No,
That's not great. Pooh Arlison says, was lost but now I am found.
That's not very
And
nice.
Gary McMahon says, it's glaringly obvious that Richarlison isn't that guy. You're not that guy, buddy.
Right.
Hey,
Not that guy,
I
pal.
told them last year. I told them in the summer. I told them when he signed. I told them after.
Tell them now.
They didn't want to listen.
Tell them now one more time.
Hey, he who doesn't hear must feel.
Yeah,
Hear
that's a
it.
great saying.
Hear
that.
it.
It's one of my favourite sayings.
You know what I'm
It's one of my favourite sayings.
You're dumb.
Right, what was the time? We are 10 minutes away from the 3 o'clock kickoffs. As you know, that's what we do on DR Sports. We cover every single game in the Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two, National League if we can. And then there's obviously some Bundesliga games that go on a Saturday as well. So
That's
we'll have
wunderbar.
those for you. Just a quick mention on Jude Bellingham last night.
Ooh.
4
watched that
goals,
game. Oh.
an assist in his first 3 games.
Oh.
Obviously,
Oh.
Joe Bellingham ripping it up in the champ as well.
Mm.
But could Madrid fans have dreamed for a better start from Job? It might be Job in a couple of years as well.
go.
But
Yeah.
Jude is the guy right now in terms of goals, assists for Real Madrid. They're obviously missing Vinicius. They're missing Militao. Benzema's obviously gone. It's almost like he's taken on that role to actually step up and be, I'm that guy, giving it that celebration. He loves it.
Love that
First
celebration.
player since Ronaldo
Fact.
to score 4 goals in his first 3 games.
In La Liga
That
or
tells
for Madrid?
For Madrid.
Madrid,
Wow.
yeah.
That
Madrid,
tells you
Wow.
the kind of levels he's setting already.
And Michael Owen
I
played
can't remember
there.
the last time seeing an English player have this much impact abroad. I'll be honest with you, this quickly as well. And I know, listen, it's only 3 games.
Bale
but
didn't start that quickly, did he?
No,
No.
No.
And the thing is, Bale was injured. I remember when he came. But with Jude, it's the performances to go with it. And I don't think yesterday's performance in particular was outstanding, but it was the fact that he rose in a moment where he was needed.
Yes.
Vinny goes down in the game. Madrid are pretty much dry on attackers at the minute. You're thinking, all right, where the hell are the goals coming from? Rodrigo gets his penalty. He misses that as well. You're thinking, all right, this is only going to go one way. 80th minute, I think it was, rises with a big header, big moment again. And you just see
And a
Jude
header as
time
well.
and time again.
Like
Quality.
And he's a different profile to what the rest of the Madrid team is as well. He's playing a different role as well. This is the surprising thing, is there's so many new things happening. You're thinking new country, new team, new position, but he's taken to it like a duck to water. Like the last game they played, I saw Vinny have a moment where he was getting rattled. He was the
Yeah,
one calming him
took
down.
him
I'm
away.
like, oh, what? You've already got Spanish under your belt like that now?
Yeah.
So it's incredible. Only at 20
It's
as
19.
well.
19.
No, I think he's 20 now.
19 still.
Yeah, I think he's 20 now. I'm pretty
I
sure
saw a
he's
video of him speaking Spanish on a like a Spanish pod or Spanish show, and his Spanish is already at like a fairly
Yeah, he's 20.
decent level. Like, and the
20.
thing is,
Look,
is he 20 or is he
He's 20.
19?
20.
he's
But
20.
when-
I know he's been a teenager for years, but it's you're
Yeah,
right. I
for
saw that
6
video
years,
as well.
He was a teenager.
But bro,
But also,
he's
to
been
be fair-
around. He's been around
He's
for
been
how
around
long, man?
long,
Like
yeah.
the whole Dortmund move, he was pretty much a high school
He turned
kid the whole
20
time.
at June, at the end of June. So
Bro,
he's
it's
just turned, but
crazy. You
the
think
maturity
Yeah.
on the pitch, and I'm talking about with the ball at his feet, but with the other stuff, dragging Vinny out of a debate, like that is years beyond where he should
yeah.
be.
Even yesterday, there was moments where, before the goal went in, he's turning to the crowd after he's won a corner, and
Yeah.
he's riling on. And I'm like, bro, you already had this
It's-
presence about
You
you.
are
and
that guy,
I don't
yeah.
He
think.
is that
I think
guy.
you got to remember
Well,
when
yeah.
he was signed for 100 million as well. They had Chouameni there already. They had
Yes.
Camavinga there. They had Valverde, who had one of his best seasons last year. You're thinking, where the hell is he gonna fit? Credit to Ancelotti. The one thing people
fitting
always
everywhere.
say is, oh, he's not tactically the
No,
greatest.
no,
but
he is.
He's gone back to almost like his AC Milan diamond and said, you know what? No matter what happens, I'm going
like
to fit
that.
these guys in. Vinny, Rodrigo, you're going to play a more forward position this year.
Yeah.
And it's worked in these early couple of games. It hasn't looked pretty, but it's got the job done. So
It's like he's a 29-year-old playing in a 19-year-old's body. It's the maturity
Yeah.
for me, the understanding of the game, how he conducts himself in interviews. It's actually mind-blowing how good he is, but then
Yeah.
how he composes himself.
I think
it's
he's
unbelievable.
I think he said in an interview a year or two ago that the people around him always try and keep him calm, level-headed, because he knows where he came from. He knows what he had to do to grind to get there. At 15, the world was already at his feet. People were talking about him from at Birmingham.
They retired the number,
Exactly.
and now we all laughed.
We
at
understand
them at the time.
that.
Now we understand. Now we get it.
I wasn't familiar with
we
the
get
game.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But his quality
Okay.
is outstanding. I would say I thought it was going to be difficult to stand out in a midfield that still contains Kroos and Modric, Valverde.
Gonna hold him
Camavinga.
bench.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They're looking at
Tremaine.
him exactly. But this is what they wanted. They wanted someone to come and take the mantle.
Here's a question for you all:
Go on.
Real Madrid captain one day.
Absolutely.
100%.
Forget Real
Absolutely.
Madrid. He will be
England
Real
as
Madrid
well.
and England captain.
Absolutely.
Within the
It'll be a
next
big
couple of
mistake
years,
if they
I'm
don't
telling
do it. Big mistake if they don't do it.
And I think that's the best thing he did by not coming to the Premier League. Even if he becomes England captain now, I think every player almost looks at him as like, yep, you're the guy at Madrid.
Yes.
You're the big
Yeah.
dog here. There's no club rivalry or anything like that. Oh, the Chelsea guy's wearing the armour. Nah,
No.
it's Bellingham, and you look at the way he handles himself, as you said, the maturity. Bro, he deserves it. He's already at 18, 19. He was already captain at Dortmund, for goodness sake. So says it all,
The
man.
yellow wall.
But the thing is,
Unbelievable.
Says it all.
at the age of 20, you got Carlo Ancelotti, a manager like Ancelotti, building his team around you, changing his shape for you. That is the biggest endorsement of him as a player you could ever get. And then now let's talk about him playing as a number 9 while Madrid are injured, but perhaps not even because of injuries. Perhaps he could be that guy that could play anywhere from 8 to 9.
What do we actually think? I don't like using the word ceiling because it puts a limit on things. Or is there no ceiling with him? Are we really talking Ballon d'Or multiple? Are we really talking multiple Champions Leagues? Are we talking multiple leagues? Because he's
I don't
still
even wanna go
got
that
15
far
years,
ahead.
maybe even 16s. Like
Yeah.
by the time we have kids, he'll still be playing.
Thing is you can have a great career and not win a Ballon d'Or at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? You can have a great career, not win a World Cup. You can have a great career, not win a Champions
Some
League.
don't need
Do you know
it.
what I mean?
Ibrahimovic never won a
R9
Champions
never
League.
won
There
a
you go.
Champions
Gerrard
League.
never
Do you know what I
won the
mean? So you can still have a great career. And I don't want to. It's almost like nowadays we've made football like we judge them all just on accolades. If that makes sense. I think
But he's
you,
gotta be there or
you look at the
thereabout.
framework in terms of like just wonder kids, in terms of people who've come into the game at 16, 17. And to 21, if you like, just that bracket, who have done as much? I could look at maybe R9, Mbappe, Rooney, Owen. He goes in that.
Fowler,
He goes
yeah.
in that category, bro. Of like international tournaments, I've stepped up. Champions League last season for
up.
Dortmund, I've stepped
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, he did.
I've
Yeah.
almost carried my team to a league title. Now I'm in Madrid, the big leagues. I'm settling in. What box is he not ticking?
There
So
is none.
He's
I'm
not
just,
perfect.
I don't
though.
even want to look at kind of like the ceiling. I just want to appreciate what we've got now.
Right.
Almost. It's like, because so often, sometimes we look so far ahead. He could pick up an injury, and I'll be honest. I think that's one concern. Seeing the way he plays, and even yesterday, he plays like a very physical, rugged style. And I worry that he plays a lot of minutes very young. We know what happens to these players sometimes.
You
They get to
mentioned Owen.
27, 28, yeah.
He was done at
Rooney
21.
even. They
Owen
just
was.
break down at 28, 29, all of a sudden their body is. So I don't want to look too far ahead, but what we're seeing now, he's in that bracket with those incredible, great wonder kids I feel like we've seen of past generations. The only difference is those I've mentioned, we're all in attacking areas. He is a bit more deeper, and I don't think we've seen that.
One thing I
Pedri?
would,
Pedri's one, maybe?
One thing I would say also with Jude is that obviously being a Chelsea fan, I saw him play very closely against Dortmund, Chelsea Dortmund last season, and he's still not fully like there. We've still not seen the best of Jude Bellingham. Like that Champions League knockout tie, he kind of lost his head a little bit, and even then he was still playing like a 7-8 out of 10. But once he can get to that, past that kind of mental barrier in the Champions League and can say, he's at Madrid, he's going to get far in the Champions League and that. Once he's free from all those pressures that, he did have at a club like Dortmund, the sky's going to be the limit for him. He's not going to have to be the kind of antagonist on the field that he was at Dortmund and felt always like he had something to prove with Bayern there. Free of that pressure, I feel he can be whatever he wants to be, the guy, honestly.
I agree. Do you know what? I could talk about him all day, but the 3 o'clock kickoffs do not wait for no man, even Jude or Joe Bellingham. It's 2:59. It's Saturday. Again, just under 2,000 of you watching with us right now, so make sure you smash that like button. Let's get into it and let's have a good day of football, shall we? 4 really good games on 3 o'clock kickoff duty. We've also got Brighton versus West Ham later on as well. And then tomorrow, Burnley, Aston Villa, Sheffield United versus Man City, and the big one, Newcastle versus Liverpool. That's St James's Park. The most goals ever in a Premier League fixture, I think, that one. Someone can double check if they want. Looked it up yesterday. Happy birthday, Fuad, tomorrow, says Oshake. Big up to you. Fuad and Ange have the same birthday, says Justin.
Don't joke with that one. Hey! Hey! Let me Google that quickly, please.
If that's true, then
my days.
He's gonna
I
lose
can
his
guarantee he'll be tweeting that in the next 5 minutes if it is true.
My gaffer! I knew we connected spiritually for a reason. That's my coach. Listen, you see that?
How old is he gonna
August
be tomorrow?
27th. Don't worry, we're all young. We're all young.
There you go. What are
Listen.
you? What star
Don't-
sign is it?
Virgo.
I don't know.
Virgo.
Yeah,
Virgo
Hey,
season.
hey.
Virgo season.
Wow. Fuad is hot under the collar. But yeah, loads of happy birthday shouts coming in. Big up.
up, big
Brazil
ups.
says Rishi is the Brazilian Benteke. Have some respect on Benteke, actually.
Benteke scored goals.
12-13, he was banging them in, mate. And then we bought him. And then he stopped banging them in. Benton Core is still out as well, reminds us, DNYJ. Shout out to you. My favourite show is back, says Rodders 007. Great name. Big up to you, Rodders.
Hope you got the goals and assists, Rodders.
Yeah, 100%.
on, you go
Big up
007,
man
pup.
like Rodders. Let's talk to Grimbo. He says you wouldn't think Chelsea spent $1 billion. Talking about their result last night, I believe. Who has scored at the Emirates? Wow!
Tell them, people. Tell us.
Is that the ham of the full? It's the full ham! 1-0.
Andres
Andres Pereira. I love you, man. I love you. Mate,
Why?
we still adore you,
Arsenal
man.
fans, are you watching? Right now, we're seeing Fulham take a shock lead at the Emirates again. All the time in the world for Arsenal to get back into this game. But there you go. What a start from the Whites. Again. Oh, my God! Nottingham Forest have scored as well at Old Trafford. Manchester United behind at home in the first minute. What a start to the Saturday football show. Do not go anywhere. This is the only place you need to be
He just
in the
arrived,
next
man.
2.5 hours.
Just got there.
If every show could start like this, honestly,
Yeah, it'd be the
it would
best
be
thing,
brilliant.
wouldn't it?
Just got there, man.
But that is the 2 goals that, if you're a neutral, maybe, I'm not going to say it like that too much, but if you're a neutral, these are the 2 goals you wanted to see. An early shock at Old Trafford, Kojo in the mud, and Arsenal join him.
Love
Both teams, both giant teams, 1-0 down at home to Premier League relegation fodder. You had Fulham to go down.
We said
Still
we
do?
said about striker scoring. Awoniyi scored again.
Awoniyi scores. It's 7 in a row for him.
He's coming for Jamie
After Jamie
Vardy.
Vardy's 11. Unbelievable start for both teams.
Bloody hell.
That's a brilliant
What a
start.
I would
start.
appreciate a day
That's
off.
a brilliant
United,
start
just one day. Just
to
behave
the
yourselves.
Saturday football show.
God.
We love to
Perfect.
see it. It's also 0-0, 2 minutes in at Goodison Park. Early goal in the Scottish Championship for Eridrionians.
Edrionians.
Yeah. I've actually been to Inverness. They're 1-0 up against
Yeah.
Inverness Caledonian Thistle.
Yeah, Cali Thistle.
I've actually been there.
Decent
Nice
side.
place. But yes, confirmation of Taiwo Awoniyi's goal in the 2nd minute for Nottingham Forest to take the lead at Old Trafford. What a start for Forest and Fulham, as Fuad said.
Hey, this is a good Saturday, man.
Has there
I
ever
love
been a
this.
more chaotic start?
I love
I
this.
think
I don't
this
think
is
so.
the best
I don't
start
think so.
shot.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm doing today. Start.
Best start in
Yeah,
the history
for
of the
sure.
show, I think.
Shocking.
Wow,
Shocking.
what a start. Let's jump into the chats. I am reading the super chats, AGT, says Grimbo, so yeah, I will be doing that. Fuad, place a 10k bet with AGT that Spurs will end up higher in the league table at the end of the season. Than who, though? You didn't say who.
Then Liverpool, I
Shout out to
assume,
Earth
but
extremities.
there's no need for that, man.
Oh my God! This is unbelievable in 4 minutes! Nottingham Forest have scored 2 goals! Kojo cannot believe it! Wow! What a start! What a start! Fuad is speechless for the first time in his life.
This is happening too quickly.
This is prime Saturday football show.
It gets
It's
better
prime.
and better
Bro.
and better.
Kojo, talk to me.
4
Willy
minutes.
Bolly.
Talk to me. Willy Bolly. Big Willy. But it is Big Willy who gets the second goal. 4 minutes in. Manchester United. This is Manchester United we're talking about. 2-0 down at home
Roy
in 5
Keane's
minutes.
going to be...
Ooh,
He's
unbelievable.
got to be set.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, this start to the Saturday football show. Shout out to another super chatter. I'm just still finding all your chats. Arsenal fan, but Spurs look good. Get Mitoma or KK from Napoli on left wing, Son centre forward, and K-Money to splash on the defence, and they can challenge big up, says Nick C.
I'd worry about Arsenal, Nick.
It's his first ever super
This
chat,
is
so
crazy.
thank you, Nick.
I can't
Appreciate
believe
it.
Good suggestion.
Ain't no going home. You staying there for 90 minutes, bro. This is
What
It gets-
on earth is happening?
It
Right
gets
to start.
better and better and better. Yeah,
What
John
a start.
Motson.
at home as well. It's a shocking bit.
You kidding me?
This is
what
bad.
are your
Kojo,
thoughts
I'm
here?
sorry, dude. Like,
This is bad.
it ain't personal, man, but box
Man,
office.
we're getting shafted here.
Getting cooked. Cooked.
Prime steak.
Cannot believe it.
Wow.
Cannot believe it. Unbelievable. Right. I'm sorry, there's so many
It's gonna get
comments. I'm
worse.
still scrolling down. Big up Titus, who says, my birthday's on the 28th. Love to see it. Is Kojo a comedian on TV? Says Earth Extremities. There is another comedian.
That's another
called
Kojo, yeah. There's a lot of Kojos out there.
I actually did work experience on his radio show once.
Oh, nice.
Kojo and Jade.
Hey.
Remember that on Capital Extra? Kojo
Oh,
and Jade?
yeah,
AVR? Yeah, 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
I am none of them. I'm just me.
It's just
Wow.
Kojo.
It's just
It's not
Eric
comedian
Ten
Kojo.
Hag,
Not
Not
man.
Just
comedian,
Kojo.
not Kojo funds, not Kojo that you know from Birmingham.
Magazine of money,
Kojo.
It's just
darling
Kojo.
me.
It's just Kojo.
Shout out Kojo
Haters
fans,
onto me. Yeah, banger. He had to, what happened to him? He
No,
had
he
some
got,
big bangers.
he got a new song out recently, actually.
Okay,
So, yeah,
fair
he's doing
enough.
his thing.
And Fuad, you're sharing this, mate. With Chelsea and Spurs having already won, you can enjoy these early
Mate,
goals.
this is
even more.
this is my weekend
no.
is chilling now.
Yeah,
I
I
love
know.
this is the only thing I do like about early kickoffs. is
Yeah.
if you do win,
Win, yeah.
oh,
You feel nice.
It's brilliant now.
Feels nice.
kick back and 1-0.
I know.
Hey, it's a good time this
You
weekend.
can just enjoy it, yeah.
And it's good for me, actually, because we play on Sunday most games now. Don't have to do
Pressure's
it.
off.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas last year, I was the early kick-off at 3 o'clock. We just got mudded every week, it seemed. But yeah, 7.5 minutes gone now at the Emirates. Arsenal 0. Ex-Manchester United, Andreas Pereira scores to put Fulham 1-0 up in the first minute. Not many goals flying in at all, really, in the Championship or the League One or League Two at the minute. Of course, we'll have them all for you when we get them. Rashford, you disgrace, says Nitish in the comments.
Yeah, he's getting slaughtered in my group chats as well.
We
but
have a
it's-
fun
it's-
scoreline in the Bundesliga. We've
Hit
got
us.
Bochum beating Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga. Perhaps slight, not too many goals in that league, but a slightly shocked scoreline there. If you're into German football, and a goal. Lincoln 1, Blackpool 0.
Indeed.
Daniel
In League One?
Mandrew. Yeah.
Warra Saturday, says Kira B. Yes, the guys in the chat are still getting around the fact of the early scores that we're seeing in the studio right here, right now. Ange Postecoglou mic'd up for a chat with Crouchy and Defoe over on TNT Sports as well. Good
Other
to see.
broadcasters are
Of
available.
course, there has been a goal in the Championship at home. Ipswich versus Leeds, and Ipswich, the Tractors, the Tractor Boys.
Tractor
Boys,
Boys,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran's
What a
boys
name.
as well.
Yes, of
Lovely
course. They're 1-0 up at home against Leeds. Also in the Championship, Birmingham 1-0 up at home to Plymouth. Scotty Hogan with the goal after 8 minutes, and it's an ex-Tottenham player, Joe Roden, who has scored an own goal for Leeds.
That ain't your problem no more.
That
ain't no problem. That ain't no problem.
Portman Road, I believe. Do you know what? Ipswich, it's a big football club, you know.
What
Yeah.
you know about it?
Won the UEFA Cup
Yeah.
under
Was it Bobby Robson?
it was Bobby Robson.
Yeah.
Good Premier League heritage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
they've got a good coach in McKenna right now, doing well with them. So, yeah, they could be a shot for these playoffs at least this season.
Nitish says, bro, Rashford for the first goal and Casemiro for the second goal. Absolute disgraces. Ten Hag out, says Northern 2000. Eric, Ten Hag out, McKenna
Not me,
in.
but boy,
There's Sharon.
it's rising. It's rising.
Can Kojo the comedian tell a joke about Man U?
Man United are that joke, aren't they?
That's it.
I was
think
just about to
that's the
say
joke.
Man United.
I do think that's the joke.
That's it.
Just
That is the joke.
couple of things on the goals for Forrest. The first one, Awani took it from his own half
That ran through.
on the counter, slots it. Rashford apparently was the one, foot race, but Awani won it and scored. And the second one was a complete accident from Willy Bolly. Had no idea that he was heading the ball in the net, and it just fumbles in the net past Onana. And Nottingham Forest are saying, "What's my name?" You know.
Very good.
It's a start that.
Sixes and sevens, I think you call that.
Can any
in terms
Forest
of the
fan?
defending.
If any Forest fans in the chat, did you dream of this last night? when you were
Listen,
going to bed?
it's still a long way to go.
Whilst
but
we're talking about
Starts don't get much better than
that,
this.
if you want to talk about goalkeeping howlers, Ramsdale has had an absolute shocker for Pereira's goal. Just ran out of the goal, came out, stopped, went to his left for and right, well, I'll just shoot over there then. 1-0. So, yeah, looks like we're having a great
Very
time.
easy goals going in.
And Ramsdale. Hope Fulham can get a second, says Level Earth. I'm never betting on Man United again. SMH says adapt or perish. Liverpool scoreline incoming for United. Forest going to get a 7-0, says Curtis in
That'd be
the
good,
chat.
Curtis, wouldn't it?
Right, let's talk about something that's kind of rocked the football world a little bit this week. It is, of course, the controversy around the Spanish FA boss, Rubiales, Luis Rubiales. He has now been suspended. That is semi-breaking news in the last hour. He has now been suspended by the Spanish FA over the Jenny Hermoso kiss that happened in front of the world on the stage during the ceremonial activities after Spain won the World Cup. So I mentioned this when it happened. I was sitting here with you. We were with Robbie.
Yep.
I said, that's a bit forward. I'm not sure what he's...
Yeah.
It was two hands. It was...
Hands
kind of
on the
firm.
head.
Yeah, he grabbed it.
And I mean, I think where he's maybe gone wrong is instead of coming out with this whole dictatorship speech, I'm not resigning, he's trying to get people to clap
Trying
up.
to do the
and-
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
innit?
I'm not leaving. Yeah, he's trying to do that. But what he should have done, in my opinion, is come out and said, listen,
I'm sorry.
massively euphoric occasion.
I
The
messed up.
emotions got the better of me. I did kiss her. I'm sorry, and it won't happen again. And then everyone would have gone, do you know what? He's come out and he's admitted it, and he's saying that it's emotion. It's because in those, listen, I remember winning the Champions League. I was in Liverpool. I was crying my eyes out of happiness, and I remember a big Scouse man coming up to me and kissing me on the lips, just because I was just like, what's going on here? And then you kind of go, what just happened there? But in the moment, because it's so euphoric, I was just a bit like, wow, that's a bit mad.
You still can't do it though. You
Mad,
can't do
of
it.
course it's not.
You can't do it.
Aye.
It was mad.
Aye.
But it happens in the moment.
Any man try to grab, you got a headbutt to your chin, bro. What's wrong
Listen,
with
man, win the Champions League, and it was against you lot as well. So come back and win it, and you might get one. But what do we think about this? Because they open the disciplinary proceedings on Thursday. It's now a 90-day period around this thing. So in terms of right decision, wrong decision, what do we reckon? Because there's also allegations that the federation might take legal action over Hermoso's lies as well. So it's very messy. This 5 days after what should have been total
Best day.
focus on the best day in Spanish, well, one of the best days in Spanish footballing history, has now been marred.
I'm going to say firstly, this is not the first time that he's been part of a scandal.
No, it's
So,
true. It's not.
you know, I mean, history tells you that this guy is a big problem for the federation itself, as well as the whole image of Spanish football. And quite frankly, the fact that it's taken the spotlight off what is another historic achievement for a country to go and win the World Cup, to win something so huge, something that was, you know, that's pinnacle of football, really. It's taken away from the shine of that. We're not talking about that, and that's a damn shame. So, in my personal opinion, look, this rumor about them potentially taking action against her statement's not wrong. If he tries to argue it, there is live footage of him literally grabbing her and kissing her. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. And for me,
And she
he
said
got
in the
off.
change room she didn't like it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
She did immediately.
Immediately.
And now he's come and said it was a consensual kiss,
Nonsense.
which is clearly a lie.
It's
allegedly.
clearly a lie.
Because
whole-
you have to say that.
the whole
now,
world
it's
saw
legal.
it.
The whole matter stinks for me, from minute one, where they come out and try and persuade Hermoso to make a statement saying it wasn't a big deal.
Yep.
That was what she was first asked to do, to then being essentially kind of gaslighted into saying, oh, it's a cultural thing. Absolute nonsense. And to hear yesterday the absolute farce of that press conference, press conference arranged, briefed the press, Rubiales is going to resign, to then absolutely make up that he asked permission and had a conversation saying, can I give you this kiss? We saw the footage live. It didn't happen. So don't lie. Don't lie through your teeth. And it's not acceptable to do that. And it's got to be a pretty dire state of affairs 5 days after winning your first World Cup, the pinnacle of your career for any football player, to then be saying, I will never play for Spain again under these individuals.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable. The fact that Rubiales cannot read the room, he's got his own prime minister telling him to resign, he's got Spanish public opinion completely against him. The man needs to read the room and go. And the fact that it's taken FIFA, hardly a bastion of moral
invincibility,
righteousness, suspending him, it says a lot.
Well said, Tom.
It says everything for me.
Well said. I think you summed it up perfectly, yeah. It's a bit of a mess there, and obviously we'll let you know what happens as that case progresses, but not looking good for anyone really in that situation, and all the focus should have been on how incredible the team were, but unfortunately it hasn't been like that at all. So
a couple goals in the Championship. Leeds have completely turned it around from 1-0 down to 2-1 up. Jorginho Rutter getting his goal, and Wilfred Gnonto just making
said he
2-1
wasn't going
now.
to play for Leeds again.
Yeah,
after his
chipping in
failed
today.
move.
Things changed.
Leicester have gone 1-0 up in their game against Rotherham as well. Casey McAteer giving him the lead.
Rutter, record signing for Leeds as well.
Yeah, he holds them big time.
Is it his first goal for Jorginho
I
Rutter?
believe it might be.
I think it may well be.
Might be, yeah.
They talk about him leaving at the end of last season when they got relegated, but coming up, Millhouse in the Championship.
It's coming up. What?
Isn't it a first I heard
Millhouse?
somewhere?
I've heard something like that.
Ain't that a Simpsons character?
It is, but I've heard a saying like that before. I can't lie.
It's an old phrase.
I don't think
It's
I've
an
ever
old
heard the
phrase.
phrase Millhouse
It's an
in my
old
life.
phrase someone told me once. I don't know why I said it. Don't ask. It's bizarre, but
In League Two, Wrexham, they're always involved in absolute thrillers. They're now 1-0 up at home, away to Barrow in South London. Lee with the penalty, fresh from
5-5 last
fresh
weekend.
from Ben Foster retiring after conceding 5 last week. Let's go back into the Premier League. It's still Fulham 1 away at Arsenal, Brentford 0, Palace 0. There's been a goal though at Old Trafford. Who has it gone to, Kojo?
Manchester United, and it's Christian Eriksen. I would be a lot more elated but we are very, very behind, so I'm not going to comment further than that, but we're back in the game, we're back at home, so yeah, Eriksen, well done. At least someone's doing their job.
Goal for Christian Eriksen, 17 minutes in. How does this game now turn out for Manchester United? Could we have a thriller on our hands? Who knows? Let us know what
It's
you
only
think
20
that
minutes in.
one will end up as.
Plenty of time.
Great start there for that game. Let's talk about Mike Dean. He's actually involved in Sky's coverage today, which I don't know. I thought he maybe would have got removed from, but I guess he isn't
coining it.
an actual member of the PGMOL anymore, so he's free speech, I guess. But listen, Robbie and X spoke about this yesterday on Best of Enemies. A lot has been said about it from both the PGMOL side. They've released a statement off the back of it, but again, it's very messy. He was on Simon Jordan's Upfront podcast with William, who I believe other gambling companies are available on When the Fun Stop. But he said, there's been a goal, by the way, at the G-Tech Community Stadium between Brentford and Crystal Palace, and it has gone to the home team.
Indeed.
It's gone to the home team, and Kevin Sade has scored it 18 minutes in. Another replacement, if you like, to Ivan Toney's goals, and he's chipping in. As long as Mbuemo and Wissa are too, then things should be all good for Brentford. But getting back into this one, so let's get it right. The specific incident that he was talking about was Romero and Cucurella last season at Stamford Bridge. Romero tugs down on Cucurella's hair like he's pulling the bell in the rope in a church.
Oh, yeah.
The big ropes you pull. It was a strong pull.
Don't remind me.
It was a strong pull. Now, at the time, we were told that, what actually happened at the time. He should have been sent off, but he was given a yellow, right?
Yeah.
So he said, Anthony Taylor, and that's who he was talking about.
It was
right?
Taylor who was the referee.
He said, he's my mate, and I quote, he is my mate, so I didn't want to send him to the screen, because we all know what that means. When you get sent to the screen,
You change.
big decision,
Actually,
you change your mind.
wasn't it a penalty? Wasn't it supposed to be a penalty?
It should have
Was
been
in
a
the
red
box.
card and a
It was in the
pen.
box. Yeah.
Should have been a red
At
and a
least a
pen.
penalty, if not a red card. Like,
So, what do you think of that? I mean, coming from a Liverpool point of view, we were done dirty with the Chelsea handball, and then we obviously had McAllister's one rescinded, which is a little bit something back that we liked. But again, how many times have we said it? They look after themselves. That's just what the average bloke at the pub says. Refs are always looking after themselves. But Mike Dean's actually come out and admitted that openly on a podcast. Reactions.
I would say though that is counteractive, and the reason I say is because you haven't actually helped the situation here. What you've just made it sound like is we're going to help our friends even if we know it's the wrong decision. The point of VAR is to help go to the guy and say, you know what, you got this wrong. It's okay. Rectify with whether it's a red card, it's a penalty, whatever you think it's supposed to be, do it. That's the point of you being there to help them.
Yeah.
If they don't see it on the pitch and it's clear and obvious, whatever that means, you help them get the right decision. And what you basically said is, I'm not going to do that because I think I'm just going to stick by him. You haven't sticked by him. You've actually made it worse for him. I don't think that's a good decision. So, me personally, I mean, we've looked at referees dodgily for years anyway. Even before VAR. VAR came in, we thought, maybe they'll do a better job. And actually, I would argue we've seen worse refereeing with VAR involved back behind the camera and on the pitch. So
I think this is why I said you got to make referees almost explain their decisions, whether it's a post-game press conference or like in the NFL where they've got to get on the mic and explain to the stadium, because otherwise it becomes a us v them kind of mentality where you've got the referees, boys club, and then the players, and then they're always trying to do this virtue signal campaign of let's respect the referees, let's try and create a respect between us, and it's like it's never going to happen if there's no clear communication, and especially if you guys are having incidents like this where clearly you're kind of looking out for each other rather than looking for the best interest of the game. So you're going to get that, but until you get that open and honest communication from them to explain their decisions.
Too open and honest.
No.
Yeah.
But to be fair, that's a good thing. Tell us this, because now we know. And the thing is, if the referees are making decisions, I don't see the problem in them explaining to us their thought process behind this decision.
Yeah.
You think it's a penalty.
tell us why.
He hit his hand. It was away from his body. Very clear.
Fair enough.
Now we know. Now we can move. If we don't have that, it's always going to leave this grey area of, and then afterwards comes this, basically the fallback of, he's got it wrong and he's admitted it, and we should have given them the decision. Was it Wolves against you guys, for example?
Yeah.
Gary O'Neill got told after the game, you should have had that decision. It's like, it's too late now. But if you explain it at the time, at least let the I don't know, in NFL, like they have they can appeal certain decisions, go to the video assistant referee.
My word,
But
great chart. Sorry, from
Brentford,
Raul
by the way, have
Jimenez.
gone up 1-0 in their game as well. Kevin Sade
we
scored for
covered
them
that
as
one.
well.
We got that one. Also, Leeds now 3-1 up away at Ipswich. What a
hero.
turnaround! What a 20
I
minutes
think
that is.
I think if we're talking Mike Dean, I want to quote the genius that is Garth Crooks and just say, it's not about you, Mike. And again, he's come out straight after retiring on a podcast, clearly to raise his own profile, and has gone and incited so much hate on other referees now. He's got everyone that watches a Premier League thinking now that the refs deliberately make incorrect decisions. It's going to make abuse towards refs worse. It's also now admitted that in 22 years as an official, you can look back and say, well, look at any dodgy decision Dean's made and think, is he thinking about his mates this time?
Yeah.
And it's absolutely farcical. And the fact that he is now on almost every media channel that I'm seeing, I'm seeing him on YouTube, I'm seeing him on everywhere, trying to make clicks and make news from stories like this, saying that he deliberately made an incorrect decision.
That's poorly.
I just think it's not on. I really do. And then you have to go down the kind of hole of, is this even kind of fixing a game at this point? Deliberately making an incorrect decision. It'd be like a striker deliberately not, missing a chance or not scoring a goal. And he's now tried to clarify, because I saw a clip from him just before I was coming into the studio saying, "Oh, I didn't actually mean a mate. I meant that actually, you know, every official that you officiate with on a Saturday is your mate for the day because you're looking out for each other."
But he still said
And I'm
he
like,
was
what?
my mate, so I didn't, and that was the reason why I didn't send him to the screen.
I know.
That's like you could be a policeman and your mate, one of your best mates, has killed someone, but you say, "Oh, he's my mate, so I'm not going to take him." I'm not going to question him. He'll get away with that one. But at some point, I guess that question is a reality. Everyone again has said this for so long. It's fixed. It's corrupt. But
now people are going to actually believe it because he's come out and said something like that, you know. And now I feel for all the, you know, if he's saying all his colleagues are mates, well, he's now gone and thrown them under the bus.
Yeah.
Because
and,
now
and
all
that's
of them.
why PGMO have actually come
had
to the
release a
front and
statement.
had to release a statement saying, in other words, he's wrong. Like, we don't do that.
I don't reckon Anthony Taylor is going to be thanking his mate for that.
So who's the real winner in this? Simon Jordan, because it was from his podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But it says a lot that, well, everything he says seems to say a lot, Mike Dean. And as I say, it carries on straight from his referees days when I didn't even know what he sounded like. Always wanted to be the centre of attention. And as Gar says, he continues.
It's not about you.
It's not about you, Mike.
It's
you
not.
petulant school teacher.
That's quite good, actually.
You know?
Used to be a chicken slaughterer as well.
Mike Dean.
Mike Dean used to work in a poultry factory and used to
right.
slaughter chickens by the dozen every day.
Fun fact of the day.
Yep, there you go. Mike Dean slaughters chickens, as well as his own
He
refereeing.
slaughters
mate.
making big decisions. That's what he does.
So yeah, a good one. Very good. It's a... No, I was going to say something about poor decision.
I want to be.
It was
I'd
there,
love to know Taiwo's opinion on this because he's already had a low
we could have
opinion
him on
of the
for about
PGMOL.
3 hours just talking about referees, couldn't we? And
It
he'll
would
go
be.
way back. JB said, yes, Tom alluded to it there. It said, to be fair, Mike Dean said earlier on Sky Sports News that he probably should have said colleague and not mate. They don't hang out together, and it has been blown out of proportion. Yeah, I think the word mate is
Nonsense.
it's a bit
Stupid.
it's a bit informal. It's a bit too informal to be using in that situation.
But whoever made that comment, are you saying that it's okay because he said he's deliberately made a wrong
I
decision
think
to
they're just
help a
saying-
colleague?
Yeah.
That he kind of clarified that earlier, or he tried to clarify it and be like, "Oh no, everyone's taking what I said out of context." Well, I don't think so. I think everyone's taking it exactly how you said it, Mike. If I'm honest,
Regardless, you've made sure that we've known that you deliberately made sure the wrong decision went forward.
deliberately
So
made the wrong decision.
How do
You
you
don't look
sleep
good.
at night?
Oh, I don't know if it's some things are bigger than footy, but
Yeah.
it's still
Good point. Only thing Mike Dean wants is attention, says Smilk. Don't be surprised he will be on Get Me
Yeah.
Out of Here soon. WTF,
Yeah.
says Buffalo Soldier.
spot on.
He'll probably be on here soon as well in a couple of weeks.
why not?
He'll be sat behind you.
Sat in the toilet somewhere. Because he shits himself at every opportunity, basically.
Should refs be allowed to do this?
Yeah, but he's not a ref anymore. He's retired.
Yeah, but
Because they've got Dermot Gallagher on Ref Watch on Monday mornings, don't they?
Yeah, but Dermot Gallagher's not gone and said he discusses this week's games. He doesn't talk
that
about
podcast that we're referring to is probably filmed 3 weeks ago and it's just come out now. So he's not going
Perhaps.
to be.
Yeah.
It's like a timing thing.
No, perhaps, but I mean, I did remember I listened to the start of it, and Simon Jordan was saying that it got the PGMOL kind of embargoed it for a while to try and wait a bit. I think they were planning to have him on at the end of last season.
Yeah, but unfortunately for them, they're also not doing their job. So they're as bad as each other, to be honest. Tom is bang on. Mike Dean will end up on I'm a Celebrity. He just wants people to talk about him, says Kieran Campbell.
I agree, Kieran.
AGT, you also have to feel sorry for someone like Tony who's got that ban for betting.
Yep.
Says Captain Meets Adventures.
100%.
Mike Dean chokes chickens. Moona says works at KFC. Says yo cool.
It's not very nice.
He loves choking his chicken. All right, enough of that now. We'll definitely move on.
I guess we should.
But
say,
the actual consequence of that is Chelsea don't win the game.
cost us
Costs you
11th
2
place.
points.
Cost us 11th
The
place.
famous handshake between Conte and Tuchel at the end of that game. Tuchel then gets sacked. So
Yeah.
when you actually look at the
Yeah.
knock-on effects of what a decision like that, he's doing it to protect his mate. But what do Chelsea think about that? Because now they're the ones that are lost in this situation.
I must say, I've read a few Chelsea fans, making these wonderful tweets saying, if Chelsea win the game, maybe Tuchel doesn't get sacked. Maybe we get Europe.
What do you think of that, though?
I don't buy it. I've got to be honest. Life has its way of kind of dealing with things. I feel like the ownership were gonna get rid of Thomas Tuchel, whatever had happened. They said, they were gonna get rid of him prior to, even if we'd beaten Zagreb, the game where he was sacked afterwards. It cost us 11th place, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna lose any sleep. It was still a terrible season. The issues we had last year would have still been there. It's always a nice little theory to think, maybe we'd have had a glorious season if we won the game, but I have to be honest, I just don't buy it.
Let us know what you think to that one in the comments.
But it doesn't mean that we can't. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't investigate this, though, and it doesn't mean that it's not a serious issue. I'm just saying I'm not going to sit here and be like Chelsea would have come fourth had we been given that win, because I just don't think. I have to be honest, I just don't think. I'm almost rather that decision happened last season when we were terrible. Then imagine if we'd missed out on the league title by 2 points. Yeah. That would have been a bit different. But
you could argue that the yellow card of Rodri at Everton cost Liverpool the league because we finished a point behind City, and if they didn't have
2 seasons ago, you're talking about,
So massive ramifications. Let's jump back into the scores. West Brom 2-0 up at home to Middlesbrough. John Swift with the goals. Martin Waghorn, the veteran striker, 29 minutes in, has equalled for Derby away at the Western Home Stadium in Peterborough. And it's a good start in terms of championship. Let's go back to the Emirates. Half an hour in now. This is no first 10 minutes. This is a firm period now of Fulham knocking the ball around, playing on the counter. Palhinha's had a good game so far. I've also just seen that Southampton are 1-0 up at home to QPR in the championship 30 minutes in. But Harry Wilson having a good game, as he normally does for Fulham. An excellent player. I was really sad to let him go when he actually left. Massive chance for Saka. Do you think he actually expected that one to come to him? Is that more of a...
expect it.
Yeah. Thompsy saying Tom looks like Donny van der Beek. Have you heard that one?
Never had that.
That's a new one to add.
I've not. That's a... Yeah, thanks for that, pal. Like, if you want to fire any more at me, no, I love it. Honestly, I have a little list, and I go through it with my family, and then some of them they'll go, there's a little bit. Some of them we just think, what? I enjoy it. No, I enjoy them.
Let's talk. Just on the back of that, Saka missed chance, which was from around about 4 yards out, a header that's gone straight into the ground. Do we now talk about Balogun being the most expensive player to ever leave Arsenal after Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain?
How much was the odds?
2 games he's played for Arsenal and he's leaving for 40 million. Great business from Arsenal. Yeah. Fantastic work from their team, but is there a chance is there an argument to say maybe he should have stayed, or could they have used him a little bit more? I mean, Eddie obviously isn't up front in this game. Chance for Arsenal. Martinelli. It's a good save from Leno.
I've heard, by the way, Casemiro has missed an absolute sitter for Manchester United.
We love to see it.
I think got a cross right in front of the goal line on his head. Needed to get absolute, anything on it. He could have got, a little hair on it or something, and it had gone in the goal. But he didn't, and it remains 2-1 to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, and it's now 2-1 to West Brom at home to Middlesbrough. Lath has scored. Great name. But yeah, what were we talking about just then? Mine's gone blank.
You were just asking something.
We're rounding off Mike Dean, weren't we?
No, Arsenal. It was Saka.
Yes. Again, Eddie's not playing today. He normally comes on and does the business. But when you look at Saka missing a chance like that, the game is still very, very, very young, by the way.
No, you're talking
but it's
about
not clinical.
And
if Balogun was there, would he have finished that off?
For me personally, I don't think Balogun has been given any other decision, to be fair.
20 goals in League.
He's been told to leave,
You've got
hasn't
Nketiah there, you've got Jesus there, they've brought Havertz in, they've got Trossard who can fill in there. You're clearly not going to play as many minutes as you were playing last year. He scored, 18 league goals in the French First Division, so he rates himself highly enough. He's just been called up by the US national team as well, so he believes in himself, and I don't blame him for that, to be fair. And I think a move like Monaco, I think is actually perfect. Go back to the league you just dominated. Away from the Premier League limelight as well, I feel like there's always that bit of pressure that comes with players, and when they play out of England, it's almost kind of like you just enjoy them. Like you only hear the good news about Sancho when he was in Dortmund.
Yeah.
You only hear the good news about Tammy Abraham and so I think it can kind of do his development and mental some good if you like playing in Monaco. And I think Monaco's a good team. Monaco will actually kind of compete for the French Cup if you like, but decent team when they get into Europe as well, and always have kind of talent in and around their squad. So listen, he'll enjoy it there. And living in Monaco,
Not bad,
ain't too bad.
Tax free.
It ain't
Monte
too
Carlo,
bad.
very nice. Joins up with Takumi Minamino, who's now got 3 and 3 for Monaco this season.
Adi Hutter, their coach as well, is a good coach to develop him. Obviously developed Haller and Luka Jovic at Frankfurt. Hasn't had as much success since, but great coach. If they hit it off, I'm sure it'll be very, very, very good for him.
Good move for Balogun. Let us know if you agree with that opinion in the chat. Again, commanding big money, but he did earn that fee, really, when you look at his Liga activities last season, which were fantastic. Let's go to Goodison Park. 35 minutes gone now. 0-0. Is this really what we all predicted from this game?
This is what I predicted, yeah.
Yeah, you did. I tried to be kind to give them goals, but
You know what I'm saying? 2-2s. I'm like, who's going to score 2 for these?
own goals. Why not? Own goals. They're both
2 own goals.
They're both
You know what?
defensively
That's not
shocking
a bad
anyway.
shot,
You know what I'm
actually,
saying?
but no, I can't see any goals coming in this game, to be fair. I think 2 attacks that are kind of really toothless, to be fair. So
Very.
Arsenal still knocking on the door to find that equaliser against Fulham, but they're dealing with the pressure well at Fulham. Calvin Bassey at the back there, really rated after his time at Rangers, maybe not so much at Ajax, but definitely a very good player, one for the future for sure. Arsenal looking a little bit shaky. I mean, Arteta did kind of allude to the fact that we could see Gabby Jesus much sooner than we thought. And again, depending how this game goes, they are going to need him for sure. Let's have a little word on Brighton versus West Ham at 5:30. The last 11 games between these two sides, West Ham have won 0. Nil point, as they
Nil
say,
point,
in the old Olympic Games.
Bagel.
Why is it that some teams just cannot beat another team? Why is this bogey team of Brighton such an issue for West Ham?
I think West Ham have a lot of bogey teams, but the issue being, I think for Brighton, and that thing is, there's always been a clash of styles, and Brighton's style tends to come up on top. Even in the days where they were struggling for goals from a striker or something, they were able to find goals from somewhere else. Whereas West Ham have always had this mentality issue where if they go behind maybe 1-2 goals, they just can't find a way back in. And against certain sides, they just don't have the juice against them. And David Moyes, overall, in general, doesn't have a good record against Brighton anyway. So I think he just hasn't got the system for it. And I think he's got a couple of players that he just doesn't know how to use. I think some of these players was fit in the Brighton system better. Obviously, they went to Kudus, so he's going to West Ham now. I don't know how he's going to do that.
Move that.
Yeah, exactly. So, if I'm being honest, I expect another Brighton win today anyway. But I'll be interested to see if West Ham can break the duck, because they're still a good team, got good players in there.
Solly March, the current Premier League top scorer at the minute, and West Ham going away to Brighton. Although they've got some new shiny toys as well, they can whip out the bag, but that's going to be a very, very difficult game for West Ham.
Credit to
Brighton,
them,
as it always is.
Yeah.
Credit to West Ham. I mean, I thought they were gonna have a really, really poor season. Really gonna struggle. You know, all the stuff talking about inside the club, Steiten and Moyes really completely falling out.
Yep.
You know, they're 4 points, I think, after 2 games from memory, and are at the moment looking like a solid team. I thought against Chelsea they played us. Yeah, we probably could have certainly got some more goals in the first half, but I thought the second half they managed the game absolutely brilliantly. Full value for their 3-1 win. And David Moyes, you know, he's had his disrespect in English football, but he's beginning to build something. And I think not to sniff at, you know, European tournament winners. Maybe it is just one of them where, you know, West Ham have had some good seasons since Brighton have come up. They've, European spots for a couple of years. So I don't know if it's one of them where you can even look at it and be like, you know, West Ham have a bad system or whatever. Maybe it's just one where you just can't seem to get a win. I mean, certainly Chelsea have had it, like West Ham away, for instance. We haven't beaten West Ham. Well, I think we did a couple of years ago, but we very rarely beat West Ham away. So
Yeah, a lot of teams do have bogey teams. Let us know in the comments who your bogey team is for the team that you support. Remember, it used to be West Brom for Liverpool for a couple of years.
Yeah,
2-2,
we were
remember.
Middlesbrough when that Steve McLaren.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't beat him. Just couldn't beat him
Alfonso
at all.
Alves, I remember when he scored against United.
Yeah.
Those are the days every year, United Chelsea title race.
Oh yeah.
I miss those days.
Good days, man. Good days. Now we're finishing. Well, not
Now
there.
we're both battling for top 4 if we're lucky at the moment.
Yeah.
West Ham and Bournemouth away is a myth for us, says Pedro, the Chelsea fan.
Do you know what? Who said, is that Pedro? Was named Bournemouth is a funny one. I always found that whenever we'd play Bournemouth under Howe, we'd always beat them comfortably one game, and then the other game they'd absolutely humiliate
Didn't
us.
you lose 3-0 there on Higuain's debut?
We lost
Or was it
4-0.
I think it was
4-0. But then
Wow.
what would always happen is
Damn.
one game we'd beat them comfortably. That could be home or away. The other one they'd make. The year before we lost 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. And
At home.
it's got a bit better in recent years, and he's right. I mean, one of the very few teams we did the double over last season. Southampton, 20th position, did the double over us, but we actually did manage to beat Bournemouth twice. If you lose into that Chelsea team, you have to say that there's probably not a curse.
Sevilla for Manchester United says mad. That's a good shout, to be fair. Let's go back into the Championship. Goal at the Den. Millwall, Kevin Nisbet has scored on 38th minute for the Lions. They are 1-0 up at home to Stoke in League 2. Stockport are now 2-1 up away at Mansfield. And Blackpool, bad start for them at Lincoln in the Champion League 1. They're now 2-0 down. But it gets better for Derby because they're 3-1 up now away at Peterborough before half-time. Martin Waghorn gets his second of the game. Arsenal 42 minutes into proceedings now at the Emirates. Still no equaliser. They are peppering shots, but Fulham holding up really, really well. And are looking to see it through to half-time. Gavi Jesus, Zinchenko, both on the bench for Arsenal today. Let's go to a question that we had on DR Sports Socials this week. And that is, who is the best? Oh, there has been a goal, has there, at the Emirates? No, it's been ruled out for Odegaard. But
That's what
let's
we like.
go to a question that we were asking you on DR Sports Socials this weekend. And it is, who is the best left winger in the Premier League right now? The options that I'm going to give to you guys are as following. We've got Martinelli, Mitoma, Rashford, Grealish,
Luis Diaz.
Luis Diaz.
Or Luis Diaz.
Buenos dias. And of course, Sonny Boy. 6 names there. I mean, you can throw other names in, but I don't think there are
What are
many
you
more.
basing this ranking on?
Let's go. Who is currently the best left winger in the Premier League? Right, again, guys,
looking at
we're
form.
barely even 3 weeks into the season. But if you were compiling a team, who do you want on that left
So if
hand
it's
side?
form-
Let's
if it's
make a
form.
case for a couple.
If it's form, it's between two players for me, Mitoma and Diaz. I'd go Mitoma.
Yeah, Matoma's
Slightly
Over
more.
Diaz, yeah.
Slightly more, just because I think he's just been his overall game has been a bit more impactful. Diaz has been good for Liverpool, but and he's chipped him with the goals. But Mitoma's overall play has just been a bit more effective for me. So I'll go Mitoma right now.
Mitoma.
Certainly not
I'm with you,
Rashford,
Kojo.
especially after today.
I just think
Yeah.
But the
Mitoma's
assist?
magical.
Alright,
Mitoma,
I'll think.
Mitoma
He is
has written
magical,
his
I can't lie.
essays. He's written his essays and he's put them into practice. I'd love to read that thesis. If I've got a friend of mine that could translate it, if it's in Japanese.
Google Translate can do that.
I know it could definitely get you the basics on being a left winger, because he's just.
He's done his homework quite literally,
I'd
hasn't
love to see him in a top 6. I'd love to see him in Liverpool's team. Let's say.
Okay.
I'd love to see how good, like, the sort of heights Mitoma would hit.
I think
in a
he's
Liverpool.
thrive. I think he's thrive.
And
at
I'm not.
Liverpool.
That's
Under
taking
Klopp.
nothing away from Luis Diaz, who has been amazing too. But I would love to see him play under Jurgen Klopp, for instance,
Yeah.
or Pep Guardiola.
I think Diaz doesn't get enough praise right now, just because when he was
Agreed.
hitting his heights. Sorry, that's when he got injured, and we didn't see him for a while. So he's almost forgotten about. And then he came back. He's on fire again. The guy's so good. So maybe this season, if he can stay injury free, you might see a lot more Diaz shouts.
I'd agree. I mean, me personally, it's between Martinelli, Matoma and Diaz for me. I'd go with those three. But again, we're leaving out treble winner in Grealish. We're leaving out captain of Tottenham, Sonny, who for the last 8 years has been incredible on that left-hand side for Tottenham.
Yeah.
But I don't think Rashford has a shout in this at all.
He doesn't.
Unfortunately.
He doesn't.
The way he's ended the back end of last season, started this one. I think if you were looking at first half of last year, you're probably looking at number one, clear, runaway, nobody even comes close. But as you said, if we were judging it on this season's current form, you got to go Matoma number one, I think. Luis Diaz, as you said, coming back from the injury, you kind of maybe weren't expecting this. Martinelli, I think you can't rule out that assist. Was it last week? I know some people
That's an
saying
accident,
it was a fluke.
It's an accident, man. Don't even let it's an accident, man.
He's a serious player.
No, but
He's good. He's very good.
He's been doing this thing, I feel like, consistently for the past 18 months. So there's no way you can't have. I think Grealish, I've said, now that Doku is here, now we will see how Grealish is truly judged. All this ball retention and cutting in, it's cute. I felt like second half of last season, he definitely stepped up, played a key part in their treble. He wasn't a bus passenger, if you like. He was a bus driver. And I was like, all right, now can you do that kind of consistently moving forward? He's one of the older ones in that group, if you like.
Yeah.
So I've got him probably fourth. And then, as you said, Rashford maybe fifth, and then Sonny last, unfortunately. Sonny just hasn't done enough for the past
on that side,
18 months or so. So
some of the comments are interesting on this. A lot saying Matoma, Sterling's a shout, but he's more of a right side winger who we can speak about as well later on. Harvey Barnes, 13 goals last season, no inclusion for
He should be
him.
He should be included.
13 goals is nothing to be sniffed at.
And a shout out to Martin Waghorn, who's got a first half hat trick for Derby
Shout out
County.
to him. Great start.
4-1 up at Peterborough.
Yeah, as I said, the veteran striker. Diaz has the South American flair, says D23. Isaac, when he plays on the left, says Harmeet Singh. I think that assist that he got at Everton last season,
the dribble,
where he's taken it from his own half, gone round about 5 players. That was all from the left. And that was impressive as a number 9, an out-and-out striker. Lucho is clear, says DNYG. Overall, he's not a left wing, but Grealish is a much better player than all of them, says Nitish.
I don't really agree with that.
Not sure about that.
Last season, Grealish was outstanding.
I think even if you're just going off raw ability, I'd probably have Luis Diaz top.
That's what I was going to say. I think Diaz would be number one on that list.
I think Diaz would be number one. I think even... where does Matoma rank?
Matoma might be third.
Half-time.
Because his dribbling ability is crazy, but people...
His finishing is good as well.
People focus on the dribbling so much, but he can finish and he can pass. He's good.
His final product is always good, whether it's the cross, the pass, or the finish. So... yeah.
My only thing about Grealish is not on him, but I feel like the goalpost always changes with him, because certain players, when they sign from that position or being an attacking player in general, it's if it costs that much, it's numbers. But then for him, it's suddenly about his performances. Yeah. You know, which one is it? I don't mind putting both into it. And then when the performances aren't happening, he's not a left winger. He's an attacking mid-10. There you go.
I've said, listen, the thing is, it's when Grealish was getting all the praise and credit when he was at Villa, I said, when he goes to a bigger club, he will have to be a cog in the machine. Yes. I said, right now at Villa, he is the centerpiece, the academy, the captain,
it's around him.
The number 10. Everything goes through him. No matter what player you are, if you're at a club where everything goes through you, you're going to shine. But when you move up a level now you're playing with the KDBs, the Bernardos, the Gundos, can you still shine in that same manner? Yeah. And what I've thought has basically happened. Now, the adaptation comes after that. How do you make yourself useful within the system? Second half of last season, he started to figure out that role. I think even this season, you're seeing him defensive contribution-wise. He's contributing a lot more. He never used to have that in his game, but he's realised, I've got to do things like this to stay on the team. Because going forward, I feel like there's so much more that can happen. And that's why I said, when Doku comes in, and you see that fast twitch muscle, see directness, you see 1v1 men being taken on, you see finishing and goals from your winger. That's when people start looking. That's when now people are going to start judging Grealish and saying, that retention shit ain't cute no more, you know. We need you to do more. And you'll see it this year, trust me. I promise you. Because if there's one thing people love with their wingers, it's the ability to be direct, the ability to beat their man 1v1. And if you're not going to do that, at least give me some goal contributions. If you're not going to give me any of that,
you're in trouble. Big trouble.
Right, let's go back to the Premier League. It is half-time between Manchester United and Nottingham Forest. The away team 2-1 up at this point at half-time. What a result that would be if it stays that way for Forest. Also, Arsenal trailing themselves at home to Fulham. The rain is absolutely lashing it down all over the country right now, especially in North London. And you can see that on the pitch at the Emirates. The rain is teeming down. And it's also half-time between Crystal Palace and Brentford. Brentford 1-0 up thanks to a Sade goal on the 18th minute. Interesting start in the Premier League. I guess the only game that's letting us down at the minute is Everton at home to Wolves, but we all predicted it, didn't we? So can't really be surprised at all, can you? Arsenal in the mud, says DMYG. Fuad hates Grealish, says Sonam.
Do I?
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm just being objective. The thing is this: I think sometimes it seems like if you're not on the bandwagon of a player, it seems like you're, hating on him. But I'm just saying all these things I said maybe 2 years ago, and they've shown themselves to be true. Essentially, like Grealish is never going to be a 100 million pound player. We can all acknowledge
he was. That's what he is. Technically, he is.
Technically, yeah, absolutely.
Listen, technically, yeah, you can say, but is he ever going to live up to that billing? No, I don't think so. And I get it. It was his release clause. Players don't decide their fees. But when you go for those types of fees, there's always an expectation of players to kind of deliver some form of quality.
Absolutely. So. Shout out to Amir Chawala, says, AGT, love you, bro. Keep it going. Real dealer. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Big up to you as well. Thanks for watching today. Remember to smash that like button. Over 2,000 of you watching us right now. Let's get a like count. How many are we on before I have a go at you all for not pressing the like button? What are we on? 500 guys. That has to be 1,000.
Come on.
Get it to 1,000. Come on.
Let's get it up.
We're having a chat.
Help a brother out.
Footy.
HBO.
Saturday. It's the Saturday football show. It's on DR Sports. Myself, AGT. We've got Fuad, Tom and Kojo in the building as well. A word on Taiwo Awoniyi. D23 says he looks a decent player. That's now 7 games in a row he's scored for Forest. We've got a Liverpool fan saying, I wonder why we didn't keep the Forest striker at the club, says Bilal. When you look at those numbers, and again, let's not hide the fact of how much time and money Forest have spent in terms of finding a goal scorer. I mean, he's keeping Brennan Johnson out of that out-and-out number 9 position. Super physical. We've seen his goal today. It's an unbelievable finish when you consider the distance travelled. Really composed as well.
Yeah,
decent. Very, very good. And where does he go from here? Or does he stay at Forest?
I like strikers that know how to use their ability. He's physical. He knows how to use physical talent. He's technical. He knows how to use technical talent. I like strikers like that, and it's very rare to see pure number 9s that are on their game 24/7 like that. I like him. I think for now, just continue your game at Forest. I think he's not comfortable, but you've got the number 9 spot certified. Keep it there, keep it going, maintain your form. Things like this happen in the past where a player hits crazy form and then they're linked to so many clubs, and some of them more often than not make the move and it doesn't work out. Just take your time a little bit, see how it goes. Like you said, you don't want another almost like a Benteke situation. I don't think Benteke did particularly bad at Liverpool, but it wasn't good enough. Stay at Forest, continue your form, see how it goes, because
it's cold in here, isn't it?
It is cold.
By the way, the thunder, I don't know if you guys can hear that on the stream.
A little jacket
terrible weather. But yeah, no,
I'll
he's doing
turn
well.
the aircon off,
It's
but
getting cold.
yeah. But the rain and thunder is absolutely howling down in London right now. So we apologise if you can hear thunder on the stream. It's all mad. We were just talking about Awoniyi looking very good, 7 in a row. Great finish from him. Again, it's nice to see a player's kind of journey go from the forgotten guy to actually you forgot about this guy, but you shouldn't have.
Yeah, Awoniyi's just been one. He came from Union Berlin, was key part in their first run to Europe. Now come in Nottingham Forest, slightly quiet half a season, but now you're seeing a real Taiwo. What a player. And I think someone who this season, particularly if Forest do well, they've got Andre Santos coming in from Chelsea, Callum Hudson-Odoi coming in by the looks of it. They could have a real season. They're a little bit of a dark horse for me. I think they could overachieve, because I think a lot of people have put them as kind of relegation fodder. Not for me.
No, not for me. I mean, I was thinking about last season where they brought in so many players and everyone was like, how many players are you signing? But they had to, because a lot of the players they got promoted with were loan players or end of their contract. So you got no choice. But they've done well. They've somehow integrated all these players in. Even someone like Serge Aurier, who I thought we're not seeing in the Premier League again, has come in. He's looking decent again, you know. So I think they'll be all right.
Now they've started to kind of figure out a little bit more of what their actual lineup is. But I've always said, I think when you're in the bottom half of the Premier League or in that kind of bottom third, you always need a 10 to 12 goal a season striker. You always need someone who's going to pick up the slack. And if that can come with someone who I think is almost like a physical bruiser, if you like, a Mikel Antonio, a Glenn Murray, I can think of off the top of my mind, a Troy Deeney, if you like. Those types of players who, even in the games when they're not going to score, they're going to occupy two or three guys. And Delafeu, you might be able to get 2 today. Ismail Assar or someone there. Like, Awoniyi is classic of that mold, if you like. So I think he's going to be a success. I think he's one of those players almost you look at and you're like, you're bloody built for the Premier League, aren't you? So it's only a matter of time. Question is, oh my God, that rain is going crazy. I can only imagine what
storm brewing in London, particularly at the
through.
Emirates Stadium as things stand.
Any changes you'd want to see from Ten Hag at halftime? Obviously 2-1 at home.
From what I've been seeing here and there whilst we're doing the stream, I want to say this again. I've been saying it everywhere. I've seen it for the last 2 weeks. The Anthony project is not working.
Right.
He is essentially damaging United attacks, and it's not going well for him. He's too one-footed. He's too indecisive on the ball. You can see where the other players where they want to go, where they want to be, and he's just not helping the attack flow. So personally, I know it's not going to happen because I know Ten Hag is a big fan of Anthony, of clearly signing for a lot of money. But I would take him off at half-time and bring on either Sancho or, if I am right, is Pellistri on the bench. Let me make sure.
Pellestri's always been exciting every time he's come off the bench. Is he someone who you'd look to try and maybe give more minutes to?
I've been a big fan of his for a while.
Yeah.
I like his unpredictability.
Sancho?
I like Sancho. The issue with Sancho is I think Sancho just doesn't know, or rather the team doesn't know what his role is going to be.
Yep.
Didn't he have a good pre-season though, where it was going to be like, you know what, if Anthony doesn't work out, we can always kind of recall on Sancho, and I just feel like he's almost like the forgotten man.
It was an awkward one because they sort of played him like a number 10 false nine.
Yeah.
And I don't actually mind seeing him there. I've been saying in some of my Man United chats that I think he's best placed in the middle of the pitch rather than out wide, looking at how Man United want to play. So I know that's a shout for me, but I think bring him on at half time for Anthony and let him go on the right side and see how he occupies it. Right now, it's just not looking good for Man United with Anthony on the right side, personally.
It's a fun debate to have, particularly as we were talking about Forrest and obviously that United game as well, that you contrast when you come up to the Premier League, a team like Nottingham Forest, who bought so many players, and then a team like Luton, who are really trying to rely on the squad that's taken them up. And I think Luton are very much going through the view of, we want to be sustainable. Even if we go down, we want to take the financial gain of the Premier League. Not such a big deal if we go down. Whereas Nottingham Forest really did bet the house on staying up last season, and it was narrow, but they did it. Yep. And they're continuing, their strategy seems to be, we are desperate to stay up every year. And it's interesting to, as I say, to contrast that with a Luton or even a Sheffield United, who have kind of come up and said, let's keep our faith in the boys that have got us here, and let's see, let's just, kind of put the club and sustainability first. Because when Nottingham Forest first came up, obviously lost games, you had a lot of pundits saying, I'm really worried for their financial future, the fact that they could go down and have a crazy wage bill. But I think it's starting to click, and the best thing Forest have done is kept faith in Steve Cooper, in my opinion.
They have. For sure.
Outstanding coach.
And again, can he see off the incoming pressure from Manchester United and make a massive statement and get 3 points from Old Trafford? Does anyone wonder why no fan base except United fans rate Lissandro, says Grealish in the chat, super chat. What's he good
harsh,
at?
Isn't it?
Tackling.
Is he that?
Marking his man.
Gets a lot of yellow cards.
He's not that bad.
He's aggressive.
He's
very aggressive.
Too
aggressive,
I think.
You can say that, but I think it's a weird one because a lot of people say we've missed aggressive centre-backs and all that stuff, and then he brings it to the table, maybe not in the way that people like, especially now with how football is, but He's aggressive. He tackles his man well. He man marks quite well. Obviously, people will talk about hype being disadvantage. I think last year he kind of fought off those things and proved a couple of people wrong. But he hasn't started the season well.
Listen, people have 1 or 2 bad moments and all of a sudden they want to get on the bandwagon of, Lisandro's bad all of a sudden. Allow it, bro. Last season he was easily one of the best centre-backs in the league.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, at, what is it, 5'6", 5'7"? We should not be having that conversation. So this narrative of, Lisandro, what's he good at? Bro, that is an elite level centre-back. And and I'm not just talking about his defending, because if you look at his passing as well,
Fantastic.
hey, we're talking top 5 in the league.
Was spun by Salah last year.
That's all right. Salah's one of the best ever.
Every
Salah's one of the best ever. When you go toe to toe with the great ones, it can happen sometimes. But guess what? I'm sure there have been games where Salah's been locked up and spun as well. I remember a Ryan Sessegnon once upon a time. They don't want to talk about that though, do they? Yeah, Ryan Sessegnon locking up Salah. The draw.
2-2.
Yes.
Where Salah scored 2.
Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Don't try it. You see how he tries it? Listen, any Spurs fans know last year the game where we drew and we were bad as well. Salah got absolutely locked up. Okay. But hey, he spun Lisandro in it. Everybody has games. And guess what? Salah weren't even going against the great one.
All right.
Yeah.
He's setting out his case.
Hey, Lisandro Defense League, we here, baby. Real men, dogs.
Other variations of men are also available.
Delicate men.
Let's talk. I mean, we're a couple of minutes away from coming back into the second half. There was a super late goal in the championship game between Ipswich and Leeds from Nathan Broadhead in the 52nd minute. That's now a classic. 5 goals in that first half alone in the championship. Which way does that swing? Speaking about players that were considered as greats, Raheem Sterling has kind of gone under the radar in terms of the drop of form. It was quite astounding considering how much he's on. But recent weeks, he's looked back to his normal self. The first goal last night, textbook Sterling, that was. Brilliant finish, the composure, weaving in and out, really good, back to his old self.
He was cooking. You love to see it. It's just so great to see him finally get some form at Chelsea. And me personally, I always believed it would come. You had a lot of Chelsea fans saying to me last season, get him out of the club, he's not very good. I'm like, have you watched Premier League football in the last
over
6 to 7
100 Premier
years?
League goals?
The guy was a Premier League Player of the Year at least once, in my opinion, for Manchester City. I was delighted when we signed him. Last season, I don't think you can single out and say he was specifically bad. He was our second highest scorer last year. Not to say that he will be happy about that, but I'm just delighted. And I have to say it, I'm going to say it. The reason for it, I've got to say 2 words. Maurizio Pochettino. I think he's come in, he's restored faith in a player, he's ensured the rest of the team's fitness has gone up. Yep. He's got so much more energy around him now, so many better attacking players to kind of build off, bounce off, and he is showing why we've invested so much time and money in him. And I'm so happy for the guy. He, even before he came to Chelsea, one of my favourite players in the Premier League. Yeah. And for me, I think if we get this world-class player we've seen the last 2 games, all bets are off. Top 4, it might just be coming, because that's going to make a huge difference. And when he scored that goal yesterday, the first one, I was saying, I don't think I've seen a wide player do that at Chelsea since Eden Hazard. Genuinely. We've had so many wingers that don't have the directness, the aggression to go in and just have a go. You see him have a go, and it was just absolutely brilliant when it went in. And the second goal, if you watch his positioning closely, he was perfectly positioned from having the ball in the middle of the park, getting it out wide to Malo Gusto, who was also exceptional. He knew exactly where it was to be a poacher, put the ball in the net, and that's the player that we got. Yes, 2 assists Fuad for Malo Gusto, but Sterling is extremely exciting, and one that Chelsea fans slept on him, I have to be honest. I didn't, but some did.
Here's a question for you all, and this will probably be debated in the chat as well. Is he world class?
Yes.
Really? Straight off the bat?
Yes.
Immediately.
Wow.
Yes.
One season does not shake that for me. He had too many class seasons for me to wipe that off him. And quite frankly, Chelsea were a whole sea of inconsistency and uncertainty last season anyway.
We let him down, in my opinion, last year. He didn't necessarily always have the best. Some people, and I absolutely hate it when people all say his attitude's bad because he's, looks a bit annoyed or upset. That's nonsense. I have never believed his attitude to be bad at Chelsea at any stage. And he's showing now, he's got a coach that's believed in him, said, you are playing every week. And he is showing why.
I think the 3 or 4 years at City of consistency he gave you kind of showed he was world class. I've always said, for me personally, to enter that kind of world class bracket, it's got to be kind of 3 or 4 years where you've been playing at that level. In crunch times, you've turned up. In big moments, you turn up for club and country. And he did that for England as well, let's not forget. So for me, he was definitely playing at a world class level. Last year, he dropped off. And I think that was Chelsea as a whole team had fell off. But
it was.
Now it's a case of, this is the thing about world-class players. Are you able to get back to that level?
And
I
he's
think
going to.
You've seen that with some other players. Now, can we see that kind of with Sterling? I think we can, but he's got to kind of tap into that. And as Tom said, Poch's kind of got to get that out of him again as well.
Yeah, in the chat, they're saying that the majority are saying he is world-class.
Yes.
Pep proved he is world-class, say the chat. More comments saying deluded fans calling him world class, says Amar. So it definitely splits opinion, this question.
I'm not even saying it as a Chelsea fan, Amar, but if you're looking at his 4 to 5 years at City and they're telling me that he wasn't a world class winger, I just cannot disagree with that more strongly. I have to be completely honest with you. And I understand he's not universally loved as a player, but for me he's just He is an outstanding winger, and people talk about that drop off last season, and I do have a point on this actually. Raheem Sterling did win us games last season. We had a game against Leicester. We were down to 10 for 60 minutes. He scored 2 goals, won us the game. He scored a goal that got us back into a Champions League round of 16 tie against Dortmund. The guy had his moments last season. People were writing him off saying he was absolutely terrible. That's just not the case. Yeah. For a team that came 12th, he was someone who clearly wasn't at his best, but did show us glimpses. And as I say, invest in him when he's low, and you reap the rewards.
He's been around the Liverpool first team 2011, 2012. We're talking about 11 years, 12 years of Raheem Sterling now.
Top of the Premier League.
Really unbelievable in terms of the longevity. Look at the teams he's played for as well. It's not by accident. Right, let's get back into the second half. It looks like Nottingham Forest are starting off exactly how they ended the first half.
And we also...
By the way, Varane off at half-time for Manchester United.
Lindelof's on. I think he got injured again, so that's another big miss. He gets injured quite a lot, doesn't he? It's become nature for Varane. So, I mean, I like Lindelof anyway. A lot of people don't like him. I like him. So hopefully,
question for you, Kojo, because I've seen it across Twitter last week, or X.
It'll never be called X to me.
I don't know. Not for me. But talk about Varane potentially. If an offer were to come in from the Saudi League for Rafael Varane, what would you be saying?
It's a good question.
Personally, I wouldn't entertain it.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't entertain it because I don't know how if we look properly to replace him. I think anyone that's looked at May Night transfer window since if you want to go back to 2014 and when we waited so many players who end up with Fellaini, we've just been inconsistently and quite frankly terrible in transfer windows. So if Varane was to move, I mean, we probably get a bucket load of money, which would be nice, but are we going to spend it properly? I don't think so. So I'd rather just keep him and keep it going.
Fair enough. For me, this time in the window, but it's a question that I find interesting because actually I thought about it. Thought he is probably that kind of profile they'd be looking at, and it's interesting one to hear from a United fan.
Well, to be fair, we're not the only team that Saudi teams are looking. They're looking for our players. Mo Salah as well.
Fabinho, Hendo.
Yeah, they're all gone. Salah next. Even Alisson's been linked as well.
The thing is. He personally has not been linked to anyone, but the chat on social media is that I'm talking about Alisson was linked, but again, there's no way we sell him. Yeah. And then there's just no way with 5 days before the window we sell Salah. I think as Liverpool fans, we're kind of admitting to ourselves that if it's not next year, it will be the year after that he does go to the Saudi League. I mean, he's almost, probably the most successful and biggest face in terms of Muslim players right now.
Yes.
He would fit straight in terms of shirt sales. There would be a Salah mania if he joined the Saudi League. I do think that. But not yet. Not yet at all. And again, his agent came out and said, we've agreed with Liverpool. There's no way he's leaving.
Fair enough.
Which is, what Liverpool want to hear. But there was just no way that was going to happen this window.
Do you know what the
and if they did come, and again, I'm not even entertaining at this window, but if it's next year, I want 150, 175. Why not?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
What?
150, 175 for Salah. A
Correct.
32, 33-year-old Salah.
I can't lie.
You think the Saudi are that dumb?
They can command it. I can't lie to you. They can get that money.
can't.
I
They
think
won't
they can.
pay
Come
that.
on, enough.
150, I think they
They
can.
Listen,
No.
you
I
think
think they
that
can.
Harry Kane, because we said 100 mil on his last year deal, yeah, you lot can come do 175.
Look at the money they spend.
Take your 100 mil
Not for
and be
me,
grateful
not
you're
that.
getting
Did
100.
One of
How
them
many
paid
years
50
on
million
his
for
deal?
Mitrovic.
2 years left.
Bruh, because Mitrovic probably had like a 4-year left
Not
on
for
his deal
me.
or something like
Maybe,
that.
but
And just had his
Depends
best
on
year
if the
ever.
player
But
forces
think
it.
about
Salah's on the downturn.
I would say, if I'm Liverpool, I'd say you bought one of the. Well, I don't know which club it was, but one of you have just bought Alexander Mitrovic for £50 million. If you want Mohamed Salah, you're giving me top dollar.
I don't know about that.
I don't care.
I just seen
It's at least
Laporte go
Absolutely.
20 mil.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
They're balanced in the books
But
somewhere.
I feel like in that stage of Saudi Arabian football where they're trying to just build their profile and
I
make
feel like
it.
this
They
is
pay it.
I think
this is
they'll pay
the
it,
gold
yeah.
rush summer. I feel like
And then
this
next
is
season
the
calm down.
summer where you get the
I agree with
big
that.
absorbent fees.
Yeah.
So you
And
think
the
next
thing
season
that-
they're going to chill a little bit?
Completely agree with you,
It's going to
Fuad.
gradually start coming out. Maybe Salah can go
Oh,
for
there's
like
been
100.
a goal at Old
man.
Trafford,
Bloody hell.
which has interrupted Fuad quite on time, really, if you're Kojo. But it's 2-2 now.
Indeed.
Manchester United have
Indeed.
started the second
Indeed.
half with a bang. And it is now 2-2 at home to Forest.
You
And
can
there is
tell by the
still a
pace.
good 40 minutes still to go. And Casemiro, after
redemption.
missing an absolute howler in the first half,
Not
has
redemption for
equalised.
me. Not redemption for me, man. I'll forever keep faith with this guy, man. People will talk too much rubbish about Casemiro. He's done his thing, and he's been important for us since last year. He'll continue to be important for us this year. That's my boy. Let's go. 2-2. We're back in the game.
Damn.
Hello, Desmond, says David Gardiner. Desmond 2-2. It is there at Old Trafford. Mitrovic is also only 28. Salah is 31 and
Yeah.
maybe past his prime, says Miss a Life.
You know what? That's just made sense to me. The Desmond line.
Desmond 2-2.
I've always heard people say, I'm
Desmond
going for a
2-2,
Desmond
yeah.
today. And I've always understood the Desmond meant Tutu, but I never, it never connected that Desmond Tutu.
See, it's not only we keep you
Yo,
up to date with all the scores, you
learn
actually learn
something new
stuff
every day,
as
bro.
well.
You learn
Every day
something new
is a
every
school
day.
day.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sticking with 150 at least if they come to us with
I think you get
an offer.
100
Make it
million. I think you get 100
But
million.
who's
Make
going to
it proper.
pay
I think you
it?
get 100
Any
million.
of them.
The Saudi government,
any
you
of
know that it's the Saudi government.
Any of you,
Any of
come
you guys.
on.
Out of
Come
the
on.
Come on down.
Have a look.
Come
One
on
pound, Salah.
down.
Very cheap. For you, Salah.
Come on, Zami.
Come on down.
No, but you
Just
guys know,
200 million. It's just 200 million.
Short that, lad.
no, but you guys know that in the Saudi league, the way the transfers work, that it's the league that buys the players,
Yeah.
and then the league assigns them to the club. It's not the clubs. Like, Al
yeah, they've
Ettifaq's
got
not
four
going
of
to
the
be
same
not going to
owners
be bidding
on the team.
100 mil. It's I think all the clubs are owned by the government. I could be that like Saudi tourist fund. So I think it will be. It's whether the league how much the league wants to get him over. Like maybe the league, given that they've been given a few billion, maybe they will sort of say, do you know what, let's just pay that. But I think 150, then you might get 100. I don't reckon you get 150 at that age. I have to be honest, but I can see your argument. And if he's a big enough kind of lure for the league, you will get a big fee for him. I just think 150, 175.
If we
Not for me.
we didn't have the Cristiano Ronaldo beef and he stayed towards the season, how much do you think they would have offered for him?
80.
Okay.
I mean, he's
60 to
37,
80.
isn't he? So.
Yeah, but his name just carries
It's
so
the
much
name.
weight.
I know.
Yeah, that's why I'm
It's
just
so
asking
much-
the question.
I'll argue that with Salah though, especially in the Middle East.
It's
as
a
well.
good argument. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
He is their Ronaldo in the Middle East.
This is what I was thinking. He's a
I don't know
megastar.
about
You don't
that.
think so?
Ronaldo's still Ronaldo in the
Messi
Middle
and
East, bro.
Ronaldo are
You know what I
still.
mean, though?
Nah.
Not close.
Nah.
Okay, fair
Nah.
I see your point about Messi and Ronaldo are in a league of their own. Like,
That's right. That's Liverpool propaganda right there. He's a Ronaldo of the Middle East. No, he ain't. Ronaldo is a Ronaldo of the Middle East.
did you guys see what was it that Ronaldo's club are playing Mumbai City in the Champions League?
Yeah,
So
Neymar.
that'd be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm very,
Welcome
very
to the
excited
Asian
about
Champions League, man.
There
What
you
did you
go.
expect?
There you go.
it. No, I
You
think
play
it'd be
Asian
great.
teams. You know what I'm saying?
Him and Mane are starting to build a nice connection as well. They're doing well. So yeah.
Mane doing up
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
Annoying Liverpool fans with that one.
oh, man. Never used to celebrate Salah's goal like that.
No, he did that.
Firmino's one, yeah.
Firmino, he did. Salah, though? I ain't ripping my shirt off, big man.
Yeah.
I'll leave that to you.
Oh, Anthony, I'll tell you what, that was almost 3-2 to United. Great save from Matt Turner. Anthony with the cut inside and left-footed strike. Let's go to League 2, Swindon 3, Crawley 0. Let's jump to the National League. Gateshead 1, Woking 1, Walsall 0, Grimsby 1 in League 2. If there's any Grimsby fans watching, let us know in the comments. We'd love to see it. Varchester United again, says D23.
He
I
was
don't think-
onside.
He was clearly
He was
onside. He
onside.
was
To have a
onside.
breather, have a Kit Kat.
No, exactly.
Liverpool
Over
as
in
well.
the Championship, Rotherham 1, Leicester 1. Rotherham have got a goal back at home at the New York Stadium.
2 last-minute winners for
Interesting
Leicester in their first 2 games, and maybe they need it again. Former Wickham player Fred Onyedinma, very good player.
MK Dons 2, Doncaster 1 at the MK Stadium as well. Let's go to Emirates because there's been nothing. There's no goals. There's no equalisers for Arsenal
What
at
we
this
love.
stage. We are around about 55 minutes into that one.
We
The
love
longer
it.
it stays this way, boys, Arsenal, can they even afford to be losing at home at this stage of the season to someone like a Fulham, with all due respect to them?
It's early, so maybe, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look, and judging by what I've been reading, a lot of people are fuming with a certain Kai Havertz. So it looks like that project's not working either
I've
right
said
now.
it for ages. I tweeted this morning, said Nicholas Jackson has shown more in 3 games than Kai Havertz showed
Damn.
in the forward positions in 3 years.
Damn.
And I have to say, I stand by it. The idea of Havertz at 8, the idea of Kai Havertz anywhere is brilliant. The descriptions you read of Kai Havertz, you think he's the perfect footballer, and then you watch him play, and unfortunately, he just doesn't seem to come up with the goods.
I think the only manager, in terms of his stint in England, that's had any inkling of how to use him was Tuchel.
Even under Tuchel,
That's the only, or Tuchel rather.
Even under Tuchel,
Had him as
we
a
had
false 9.
we had
Yeah,
about
it looked
two-
like it was working.
even under Tuchel, we had about 2 months where he was world class. After that, he just didn't show enough. And the thing with Kai Havertz is, I was just stunned that a club were willing to pay us what we paid for him. We paid for him from Leverkusen. He was the next big thing coming out of Germany. And frankly, Arsenal did us a massive favour, giving us 65 mil, the 65 we paid for him, more or less. We made a profit on that man. And do you know what? I'm laughing all the way to the bank. I have to be completely honest.
Typical Chelsea fan, really, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, though, people will talk about FFP, but the reason we're staying with FFP is for deals like that, for players that have underachieved at Chelsea. This isn't a Saudi League club bailing us out for Kai Havertz. This is Arsenal FC.
Your rivals.
And I have to say the same about Mason Mount in some ways. You know, I won't be as kind of brutal on Mount as I would probably, but
Apparently, you bought him for 70 mil.
Kai, yeah, but if you amortise if you take the contract and
Amortization.
I know you're an accountant, a qualified accountant at that, so
I am now,
congratulations to
but,
that. But
thank you,
that
mate.
is very. Let's get accountant.
But on the
chat,
books,
isn't it?
for
Amortising.
FFP, we've made about 20 or 30 million in profit for him, and I'm just sat here thinking, first, I don't know how, and it's no disrespect on the guy. I mean, he gave his all. He scored a Champions League winning goal. We thank him for that, but I don't know, man. I just see. I get excited watching Nicholas Jackson play. I never
Scored
got
last
excited.
night.
I think he's
Oh,
good.
delighted
I think
for
he's
him.
good.
And he drives the way he drives forward. His aggression is. He's everything I want to see in a Chelsea
Is
striker.
he doing well because he's not wearing the number 9?
I don't know. It's superstition, isn't it? I don't. really, I don't know if I subscribe to that. Like, I guess Drogba never wore the 9. I just think he's a good player.
True.
You
He
can't
was
keep
15 and then 11, wasn't he?
15 and 11. You're right. Yeah, you can't keep a good man down. That's all I'm gonna say.
Can't keep a good man down.
True.
Always when they smile
He's
when
just,
they want
and he's
to
someone who I did
frown.
want to, sort of wax lyrical about on here, because he's 3 games. He's shown us so much. Unlucky not to get his goal. He's got his goal now.
Disallowed goal, speaking of goals, at Goodison Park. Just waiting to find out what's exactly happened there. But Old Trafford is noisy right now. Is this the kind of game that United just go on and win comfortably, or do Forrest pull another rabbit out of the hat with around 25 minutes to go at Old Trafford? Again, Arsenal still needing a goal desperately. It's past the 60-minute stage.
That's you.
There. Thank you. Another one goes well over the bar from Odegaard, who scrunches up his shirt, shouts to the skies as he is not having the best game. In League One, Burton and Bolton are playing, and it's 1-1 there at Burton. Sorry, again.
Bless you.
Thank you.
A couple of red cards in the same division as well.
Stevenage and Portsmouth in League One. Liga. Portsmouth, man, what happened to them? I think we all know what happened to them, but
Yeah.
to see them that far down.
Good, man. They
Just
shot my
an-
2008 FA Cup, bruv.
Just an update.
They won it fairly.
Yeah, you
Just
think I
an-
forgot about that?
Breaking update on the
Good riddance.
Luis Rubiales situation. He has released a statement saying Luis Rubiales has stated he will legally defend himself in the competent bodies. He fully trusts FIFA and reiterates that if he is given the opportunity to begin his defence so that the truth prevails and his complete innocence is proven. I struggle to see how he's
Again,
going to
This
achieve
guy's
that.
he's a muppet.
But,
Absolute
he
muppet.
said he thinks he's going to prove his innocence. I do not see how he's going to be able to do that, but he's clearly not giving this up without a proverbial.
Embarrassing.
He's actually
proverbial
Actually
fight.
embarrassing
from
himself.
Gran Canaria
Ridiculous.
in Las
But
Palmas.
it's a funny
which
one
isn't
because
Spain.
Rubiales was the key figure when Julian Lopetegui got sacked before the World Cup in 2018. It was basically his decision to remove him with less than a week before the tournament. So he's, as Kojo did say earlier, no stranger to controversy, but this one's just absolutely
And it looks like it's
vile.
just at the beginning stage now, these legal proceedings which will now follow, which again we emphasise it's just not what should be happening
And just
days
to
after a World Cup final win.
And just to reiterate, FIFA have suspended him from all football-related activities at national and international level for an initial 90-day period.
That is going to be not a nice case to watch. Let's go back to the football. Swindon in the League Two, 4-0 up at home to Crawley. Jake Young with a hat-trick there. Birmingham won. Plymouth have just equalised. Hardy on the 60th minute for Plymouth. Do you know Hardy?
I was just in Jeff Hardy's thing, but there you go.
I like that.
As I mentioned, still 2-2 at Old Trafford. Who's going to come out on top in that one? And of course, Arsenal still trailing at home to Fulham. 64 minutes gone
We
now
love that.
in that one there. Again, 0-0 still, isn't it? At Goodison Park against Wolves. Everton at this stage need the points, as do Wolves, of course, but Dan Juma is actually playing as the out-and-out striker today for the Blues. Still no goals for him
Is
yet.
it next season that Everton move into a new stadium?
It is.
Oh boy, then they can't be doing that in the Championship.
100%. On the bench today, they've got Keane and Morpay in terms of names that you would recognise, maybe Godfrey as well, Mikalenko.
I remember him.
Good from the bench at all for Everton, but Wolves as well with their team of Fabio Silva and Mateus Cunha up front.
Fabio Silva.
It's a must-win for
I feel sorry
both.
for him.
I
He
think
made a
because
bad move. He made a bad move.
Everton won't have very many easier home games this season than this one. And Wolves, obviously put on a show for their manager first day at United, but then you saw perhaps the concerns people had about them second week against Brighton at home got absolutely really got smoldered. So it's a big one for them. And if Everton can't beat this Wolves team, their concerns about relegation will be very real. I suspect.
Just to give them a little bit of a boost, summer signing Yusuf Chermiti is stripped off and ready to come on for his Everton debut. We've heard some things about this kid.
Sporting Lisbon won the kid.
Lisbon,
indeed.
so we'll see what happens. Wolves have just had a free kick deflected right in front of Jordan Pickford, and the England number 1 makes an incredible stop, apparently, to keep Everton in that game. Corner comes in for Manchester United. It's headed out by Nottingham Forest defenders, though. Let's jump back into the comments. Bro said Wooderson. I did, and I said it with chest. Havertz, Sancho are only suited to the Bundesliga, says Montana Prime. We asked you earlier, is Raheem Sterling world class? 50-50.
Is it?
Could not be split.
Wow.
Surprised, but I guess
I'm not surprised, to be fair. I think
I did say it's
there
his
are a lot of
opinion,
people
though.
who aren't a fan of the way he plays, if you like.
The opinion lost.
They see him more as like a back post tapping merchant and things like that.
not to
So
like about
I don't think Sterling, even when he was at his best form, if you like, he had to win a lot of doubters over, if that makes sense. So that honestly split doesn't surprise me.
tap-ins don't score themselves. Genuinely, and I mean that as a credit to him, that you have to be in that position to tap the ball in. You know, like even at Haaland, you know, not all of his goals are pretty, but you have to be in that position to put the ball away.
That's it.
And that's why the phrase "tapping merchant" winds me up.
It's become, we're in a stage of football where we used to celebrate guys that just knew movement, like your Falcaos and your Ruud van Nistelrooys and Forlands. Those guys that get in the right position, right time in the box.
Let me just interrupt you there, because a penalty has been given at the Emirates and it's gone to Arsenal.
Of course it did.
It's gone to Arsenal. Fabio
course it
Vieira
did.
goes down in the box. Let's have a look at this. Fuad Martinelli through to Fabio Vieira. Kenny Tete.
Stupid.
That's stupid.
Stupid.
It's
Stonewall.
poor. It's
Stupid.
Stonewall.
It's a pen.
Stonewall.
You know when you
Yeah.
can just tell the attacker's just going to kick this and he's just waiting for the challenge?
There you go.
He's
not
never
scored
even
the
going to
pen
win
yet.
that.
The pen has
it's
not
an
been scored
awful,
yet, though.
Awful
Yeah, we'll see.
foul from Tete,
We,
who clips Patrick. I was going to say Patrick Vieira, Fabio Vieira on the foot.
I think with all the best will in the world, I don't think many Arsenal fans will be comparing Fabio to Patrick just yet.
Yeah, just the name. That's all. Red card
Red
for
card
Nottingham
for
Forest.
All right, go and win this game.
Joe Worrell on the 67th minute. Bukayo Saka steps up, by the way, to take this penalty. The rain is lashing down.
Last week it was Odegaard. This week's Saka. Let's see what happens.
Better rise it.
Tense moment here for Arsenal.
I'm surprised
Bernd
it's not
Leno
Odegaard,
speaking to the
yeah.
referee. Are they still looking? Oh, they might be looking at an offside in the build-up to this Arsenal penalty. I heard the I lip-read the referee saying the word offside as he's got players surrounding him.
Come on,
Saka
please.
still got the ball in his hand,
Please,
which is the
referee.
worst kind of situation to be in, because you don't know if the penalty's going to get given.
Overthink
You're
where
waiting,
gonna
you're
put the
waiting.
pen.
And Saka hasn't got the best penalty record, as we already know. But
Don't remind
Saka
us.
looks like he's stepping up to take it.
He's not marked his run up yet though.
And it's a goal for Saka. Arsenal are back in it with 20 minutes to go. Saka scores the penalty after a lengthy delay in terms of the referee wanting to know if there was an offside in the build-up to the foul by Tete. But the penalty goes in, and Saka gets his goal from the penalty spot on the 70th minute. And there's also VAR on the red card for Worrell at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Forest. It's all kicking off here on the Saturday Football Show. This is the business end of the show. Bird Leno coming to
Kenny Tete,
been a
man.
classic.
Bozo of
It's
the
been a
week, I swear to
classic
you.
this
step on the
weekend.
spot.
Bozo of
This
the
weekend
week.
clue
has
why it's
been
gone down.
fantastic.
No
Another goal, really important one. This one in the Championship. Southampton now 2-1 up at home to QPR. Adam Armstrong with the goal in the 64th minute for the Saints. They'll be looking to hold on at home to QPR. Notts County 2, Tranmere 0 in League 2. County, the oldest football club in the world, they claim. But now Arsenal have the opportunity to go on and win the game. Manchester United 2-2 from 2-0 down. how they respond in the last 15 minutes. Make sure if you have not already, like the stream, like this video. This is, as I said, the business end of the Saturday Football Show. This is where the real juicy bits happen. And we need to get the likes up as well. Still not at 1,000. We're just 750. Get us there, please. 250 of you, please. Now press like and get us to
the red card. By the way,
to 1,000 likes. The decision stands. Tom says.
Apparently no intention to play the ball. Pretty clear red card. Fernandez makes a dart in behind the Forest defence. Casemiro picks him out. Worrell cannot do anything but drag Fernandez down. Referee brandishes the spot kick. So is it a penalty? Is what I'm reading here?
It's coming on now.
Adama Traore is on for Fulham. Are we hearing that there might be a penalty?
According to what it's a free kick rather than a penalty.
Kick. Right.
So I think it may have been one where they're not sure. Maybe it looked like it was, kind of fell into the box. Yeah. But it's a free kick rather than a.
Can Fulham get the ball out to Adama Traore in the last 20 minutes here to really give Arsenal a headache on either side? He's playing on the right-hand side and the ball goes straight over to him straight away. 20 minutes to go at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Wolves 0. Both goals desperate for a goal. Sorry, both teams desperate for a goal in that one, as are we, commentating on it here on the Saturday Football Show. But it is confirmation of that red card for Worrell on the 67th minute. For Forrest, it's still 2-2 there.
Suspension for their next game. It happens to be at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. So
there you go.
Delighted with that.
Goal again at the Emirates, and just like that,
Of course.
just like that,
Of course.
within 2 minutes of scoring the equaliser, Arsenal go in front, and the two lads to the left of me are not happy about that.
Not about happiness or anything like that. Yeah, listen, it's just Kenny Tete is an absolute bozo, and I really hope he realises the trickling effect he's caused from that one silly challenge, because this is what happens. Last 20 minutes, as you said, business end of the game. Eddie Nketiah comes on.
There are two teams you don't want to give momentum to into this league. Two teams, Arsenal and Liverpool. When they feel that energy, they just go vroom and they don't stop.
Eddie gets the goal. Eddie Nketiah. Great for him. Just come on. It didn't start the game. It was Trossard who started this one through the middle. But Eddie Nketiah comes on, and I have to say, he does his job when he comes on. He really does. I think last season he scored 9 in 11 at the Emirates or something. Unbelievable record that he's got from coming off the bench. And from behind 5 minutes ago, Arsenal are now in front. Arsenal fans, how are you feeling in the comments? Let us know. Arsenal come back again, says Bilal. It was fun whilst it lasted, says Footy23. And goal 2-1 to the Gunners, says Raphael.
As you say, Kojo, I think once Arsenal got that equaliser, there wasn't really a doubt in my mind that they were going to go on and win the game.
Yeah.
No, they haven't won it yet, but I find it hard to see Fulham coming out with a point now.
I think I predicted 3-1 Arsenal.
Oh, silly Fulham.
It's just a very one individual mistake has
self-sabotage
made the
from
work of 11 players for 70 minutes just rendered.
Oh, that could be a foul though by Saka.
No, he says no.
That could be a foul by Saka.
Do you know what's funny? Tete caught on the ball there again.
Yeah, at fault for both goals, but.
Shout out in League 2 to Jake Young, who has just scored his 4th goal of the afternoon for Swindon. Pretty special achievement.
Fantastic result that, and for Jake Young as well. It's a really good finish by Eddie Nketiah. The ball comes across the face, and it's a simple finish, but those ones can be missed when it's raining. I sound like Ty. We mustn't forget it's been raining. It has been belting it down. But Marco Silva on the side of the pitch and Luis Boamorte both absolutely furious, both shaking their heads. They wanted a foul on Saka on Calvin Bassey, and that has actually now resulted in Marco Silva getting a yellow card from the referee. He's calling him a disgrace and all that stuff that you would call them if a decision does not go your way. But there has been another goal in the Premier League. Who's it gone to, Fuad?
Crystal Palace, 1-1. Equalised at the G-Tech Stadium. Let's see who the scorer is.
Roy is inevitable.
Yes.
Yeah, I did say.
Love him.
What are we saying? Eze and
I said 1-1. Nah, that front line. Don't joke with that Palace front line, please.
Olise?
I'm probably going to
signed?
guess Eze.
I'll go Eze.
I got Eze. Eze's the star man this year. I feel like second half of last season, him and Olise were like, forget the Zaha days.
Joachim Anderson.
All wrong.
All right, we were very far
Is
away
that a
from
set
that.
piece?
I would love to be a volley. That would be beautiful.
They're not all going to be the nice attackers' goals, but they all count.
And Karitwa saying this is what happens when you take Havertz off the field of play.
Well, that's what Chelsea have done this summer.
And that's what they have done this summer. I don't know if you guys can hear the thunder. It's absolutely crazy.
Don't make me sing Imagine Dragons, Alex. The lightning and the thunder.
This kid's behead stuff.
It's mad.
That's it. It's a
Um,
terribly catchy song, that.
United penalty potentially, are we hearing?
Indeed, potential.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Is it
See what
VAR?
happens.
Was it given then VAR, or was it one where VAR?
The VAR's going to check it. Yeah.
Ooh. Throwing the cat among the pigeons.
We're just getting confirmation on that. As soon as we have it, with 15 minutes to go at Old Trafford, we will give
Squeaky
you
bum time of the game, man.
that for sure.
Be one that it'd be heartbreaking for Forrest. 2-0 up in 4 minutes. Now you're down to 10. You're fighting, and to come away with nothing
People are
would be
saying
very
Rashford
difficult.
dive. It's soft. Also hearing that 11 members of the Spanish women's coaching team have now quit, says Matthew Firth.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
But Filder remains the head coach of the women's team as things stand.
And it is a goal from Manchester United. They lead 3-2 at home to Nottingham Forest. It was a
Goodness sake.
soft penalty that we're hearing. And it is Bruno Fernandes with the penalty. He's converted it on the 76th minute, 15 minutes to go, plus added time now at Old Trafford. 10 men Forest as well. What a shift they've put in today.
Both teams turning it around, man. United 2-0 down, 20 minutes?
Yep.
Or first 5 minutes, sorry. Yeah, first 5 minutes. So I think that's sometimes the issue with when you go a little bit
Too
early. Yeah, you've kind of got the whole rest of the game. And listen, got to give credit to United. Turn it around in the second half.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal, of course, at home against Fulham. Turn it around as well.
Fun while it lasted, folks.
The game is the game, eh?
Yeah.
Everybody goes home happy.
I'm happy because I got a message saying watching you live in pain makes me happy. Well, ha.
Hold that, Kojo
Hold
says.
that.
To whoever
Don't you worry,
messaged him.
Kojo. I should know. I've had 7 Chelsea games on this channel, and we haven't won a single one of them.
I'm sorry, man. I got my first win against Liverpool, but before that, I got 6-3 and a couple of other smackings by other teams. So yeah, man, your win's coming.
I know. I'll be better be a certain champagne or fizzy apple juice on ice backstage when we finally get a Chelsea win.
There you go.
Either on this show or on a watch along. I'm crying out for it. Poch, my brother, provide it for us, please.
There you go.
Barry Bannon, remember that name? Aston Villa, midfielder.
Scotland legend.
Scottish-
But he
Scottish
scored
legend.
earlier last week as well,
I
wasn't
think
it?
he
Or the
might
week
have.
before,
Yeah, Barry Bannon, he scored for Sheffield Wednesday.
Villa
away at
legend.
Cardiff. That's now
Stalwart.
1-1 in the Championship. Yes. Well, Manchester United started off the game in disarray, Kojo, but now they're back on top. But can they hold on? That's the key question.
I hope
With
so.
a man advantage as well.
Exactly. I even want them to try and get another goal. I mean, of course, you might want to try and keep it stable, but I think just try and get another goal, just close it off. 2 goals better than 1. So
Still
Get
not
another
the
goal and then that's it.
performance, I guess, that Everton would have wanted. United would have wanted in terms of going behind so early. Same thing happened to Liverpool pretty much last week as well.
Yeah, should have
Bruno
been, could have
penalty
been
was a good one. It goes past Matt Turner. Not convinced with Arsenal when the Champions League starts. Oh boy, says Kingsley Tuam with the super chat. There's been a goal in the Championship. Preston 2, Swansea 1. Dwayne Holmes with the goal. Swansea were 1-0 up in that game. Then our trailing 2-1. Another goal in League 2, Wimbledon versus Forest Green. Look who the goal scorer is. It's Troy Deeney for Forest Green.
Love it.
In the 76th minute, getting an equaliser away at Wimbledon. We're hearing there's a VAR check at Goodison Park. What is it for as we await?
Ty won't be happy, man. Troy Deeney getting on the score sheet all the way down in League 2.
Adama Traore just trying his best to make something happen for Fulham, gets shut down, but we're waiting to see
Kiwior.
what's happened
At
at
Goodison.
Goodison Park. Is there a penalty?
No, they need
trying
action
to find out some information myself.
Yeah,
And
I've got Everton fans saying
struggling.
this is grim watching.
you don't get the
Bro,
win. Yeah,
I
but
said
you
to you,
get the
two
win.
toothless teams. There's no point even watching that game. Like, you're just suffering.
It's genuinely sad how how this has happened to Everton.
It's
Like,
not sad.
I'm
It
used to them
really
getting
isn't.
Europa League every year, and
Nah.
now it's just
When you run your club as
Well, they used to
disastrously
get
as
in the
they
Moyes
have
era. They
for
used
the
to get
last
Europe a
7
lot of
years,
years.
Long
you
time
deserve
ago, mate.
every
Well, it was-
bit of
it
bad
was,
thing that
but-
happens to you. It's an awful run club with awful ownership, making awful managerial decisions, making awful signings year in, year out.
Facts.
I'm
But I know
sorry,
some
at some
Everton
point
fans-
this is
Big
going to
facts.
catch up to you. I couldn't care less about your history or
I
you.
agree with that.
Nah, it's
I
not
agree with
sad
that.
in my eyes. I feel like anytime you have a badly run club, you can run it badly for 2 or 3 years and get away with it.
Everton
It's
scored.
Once it comes like a half a
offside
decade,
for Abdoulaye Doucouré.
Offside goal, yeah.
I mean, I meant it
Disallowed.
more Fuad towards the fan base. Like I've met
Nah.
some Everton fans.
hold
They're
it,
fairly nice people.
hold it, bruv.
But you're
Either way
right.
in
You're
the
right.
championship.
Everybody
Yeah.
suffers. You got to take your licks.
Yeah,
You're
hold
right.
that in
You're
the
right.
championship.
And listen, fair play to them. They've protested. They've made all the noise they can. We know they don't have great
Go play
ownership,
Rotherham.
but
But nothing's
Monday.
changing.
nothing changes, bruh.
And if you, as you say, if you run your club as shambolically as Ken Wright and Mashiri, you probably deserve to go down at some point.
Absolute madness we're hearing at Old Trafford. Martin Keown says, for me, there is no way that is a penalty. In the wake of hearing Mike Dean speak in the week about refs not reporting things, it makes you ask, how did VAR miss that? It was a clear dive. Clear dive.
But it's
Manchester
funny.
I'm
United.
gonna have a look at it
It's
right
funny
now.
because Mike Dean himself has said it was harsh, but it was a penalty on Mike Dean. So maybe he's protecting his mate. You don't know, but I feel it's fair to give him right a response there.
Both Arsenal and United completing comebacks with refereeing decisions.
Who would have
Interesting.
thought it?
The Premier League brand
Who
must
would
stay
have
strong,
thought
eh?
it,
All the
eh?
mates.
But yes, Abdoulaye Doucouré drove into the area. His shot was deflected. VAR checked it and they said no goal in the end. But again, the correct decision was given with the offside there as well.
Russian
But we
was
did
tripped,
hear
I'll
an
say
Everton
penalty.
fan saying, "It doesn't take that long. Give the goal!" Shouts a fan in the stands. I'm sure there was other stuff shouted as well. Mikel Arteta has also now been booked for histrionics outside of the technical area. There's also now been a red card in the game between Arsenal and Fulham.
Calvin Bassey.
Calvin Bassey with the red card for Fulham. Oh no, 83rd minute. He was down injured.
Decision. Interesting.
He was down injured after the Nketiah goal, but he now gets a red card. He's now off the pitch. Also, that massive game between Ipswich and Leeds down at Portman Road is now Ipswich 2, Leeds 4. Luis Sinisterra with the goal on the 75th minute, which looks to have wrapped that game up for Leeds United. Big away performance. They've needed it. They've needed a 3-point pickup in the Championship, and now they finally got one as well.
If people would like some team news,
Go
at the
for it.
Amex,
Let's get it.
We've got a debut for Bart Verbruggen. Starts for
Goalkeeper.
Brighton today. The goalkeeper,
Yeah.
yes. We've got Estepinian, Dunk Webster, James Milner at right back.
What a guy.
Pascal Gross and Billy Gilmore in the pivot. You then got Matoma, Evan Ferguson, Solly March, and Danny Welbeck.
Ferguson was
Welbs.
rumoured to start this game in the press conference yesterday from De Zerbi. He is starting. And how do West Ham line up?
Yeah, so we also have another full debut on that side of the fence too. We got Areola in goal, Emerson, Angelo Ogbonna, Kurt Zuma, Vladimir Kufal, Thomas Sushek as the DM with James Ward-Prowse, got Jared Bowen, Lucas Paqueta, but a debut for Edson Alvarez with Mikhail Antonio as a number 9 looking for 2 goals in a row.
He
So it's
certainly is looking to extend that goal run. But as I said, the business end of the Saturday football show, we're in the last 10 to 15 minutes
Did
now.
you see Edson Alvarez amongst the front players?
That is.
Doesn't he sit with Souček?
He's a defensive midfielder.
That is,
Centre
as
back,
the
yeah.
team's being laid out, he is being laid out in an attacking position. I agree
This
with
is
you.
a centre-back defensive midfielder.
He's a DM. You're right. It's more of a 4-3-3 for West Ham
Interesting.
today. It's being laid out by a popular news, sports news broadcaster as him and Ward-Prowse in the kind of attacking 8 positions. But I agree with you. It's probably more of a 4-3-3 with Alvarez. I mean, Alvarez, Souček and Ward-Prowse. Probably Ward-Prowse slightly further forward. But you're right, Kojo. You are right. I kind of was on autopilot.
Rashford, by the way, booked at Old Trafford for kicking the ball away in a show of dissent.
It's interesting with Brighton to drop Jason Steele. I always say I can never quite understand why you'd rotate your goalkeepers. I just think that's the one position where I think chopping and changing is probably not the best
Not ideal.
thing to do. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. I mean, Verbruggen was bought in for money, so maybe ease him in. Carabao Cup. Oh no, it won't be Carabao Cup for Brighton, will there? But you know.
Still 3-2 to Manchester United. 85 minutes gone now. Nottingham Forest having a real go of things now. They've brought on 2 strikers.
Too late.
Goal for Chelsea loanee Harvey Vale for Bristol Rovers at home to Wickham, but they are still 2-1 down. But nice to see a loanee get on the score sheet. Got to be repping Chelsea on this show. Chelsea here, Chelsea there, even when we're not playing.
Well, that's good, isn't
That's
it?
the
At least,
phrase, Chelsea here, Chelsea there. But
Oh, is it?
second week
I
we've
didn't know
had
that. I don't-
loanee
yeah.
score on this shot.
Oh, yes!
Yes! Come on! Don't go anywhere! Don't
Not go anywhere! Again, there's still time for this one to change, but
Right.
87 minutes gone now at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, Fulham 10-man.
João
Fulham
Palhinha.
2, and it's João Palhinha with the goal for
Love
the
that.
Whites.
Love that.
87 minutes in again. Still time for Arsenal to go over and win that one. Super chat coming in here from 40-year-old Virgil, who says, dominated by 10-man Forest at home, it's peak. Talking about Manchester United. Another goal for Casey McAteer for Leicester away at the New York Stadium against Rotherham. He scored 2. Leicester looking to win that one now. And there's been another goal late on at Goodison Park. It's heartbreak for Neverton. And it's Wolves who have scored, and Sasa Kalajic has scored on the 87th minute.
That's his first goal. Waited a
Yes.
whole year for that. Out the whole of last season with that.
ACL
Yeah, it
first
was a big
season,
money
yeah.
signing
First
from
game.
Stuttgart.
Ah,
that
that
is
guy.
going to be
Striker.
relief.
Massive-
Yeah, that is
massive
going to be
strike.
relief for
Big
him.
up
It might be his season.
I
then.
totally
It might
forgot
be
about
his
him.
season.
ACL in pre-season.
Yeah.
I
Bless him.
was
Wow.
there. I was there for his goal for Austria in the Euros. He's a
Well done, João Palhinha as
Nuisance.
well.
Yeah,
man.
Fuad, talk to us about this João Palhinha goal and what does it mean with, let's say there's 5 minutes added on at the end. That's probably
We
the average
love
now,
it.
but talk
Listen,
to us
10
through
minutes.
the goal.
Adamar kind of driving it down the right-hand side, winning the corner, and then a lovely ball whipped in there, and just on the right foot swing, Palhinha gets it. Listen, Arsenal getting caught sleeping on a set piece
Saka.
here, and that's Bukayo Saka, who just left his man there a
No
little bit
centre
with too
backs
much space.
within the 6-yard box trying to defend that corner there. But Palhinha gets the goal. He celebrates with the Fulham fans. And we are in for a thrilling final 5 minutes all around the country when it comes to the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Don't forget Brighton versus West Ham as well at 5:30. We're not covering it, but it's been another goal in the Championship. Norwich 4 away goals at Huddersfield against Neil Warnock's side. Adam Eder has added woe to that Huddersfield team who have now conceded 4 at home today. West Brom 3, Middlesbrough 2. That one could have a spicy ending as well at the Hawthorns. Middlesbrough potentially getting more than a consolation goal if they can back it up. Salford have just got a consolation goal at home, losing 2-1 to Accrington. Celtic in the
Stanley?
Who are they?
Who are they?
Exactly. Celtic 0, St Johnstone 0 in the Scottish
big
Premier
space.
League. 89 minutes gone there as
Brendan
well. But
Rodgers.
all eyes at the minute are on both the Emirates and Old Trafford. Will there be an upset late on? Arsenal still knocking on the door to see if they can get something. But talk to us about that Everton conceded goal, because again they had a disallowed goal themselves. That is an absolutely heartbreaking one.
It's a kick in the teeth, because
ends up to be the winner.
Home results are kind of what you're going to rely on with the teams down there. And I think last season you saw when Dyche came in second half, that's kind of what he used. I think the result against Arsenal, I remember, was his first one where it just got them bouncing. If you start losing these types of games, and I said in a preview that in my eyes I actually look at this game like it's an early season 6-pointer.
Agreed.
But I don't know, this is not gonna, and I worry that the confidence, how this could affect it, if that makes sense. If you're losing to inner teams around you, mood all of a sudden come training on Monday, the next week going into it you're not feeling very good. I don't know, it could kind of spiral downwards out of here, you fear. And I don't really want to see Dyche go out like that. Like, I really hope now Everton kind of look at these first couple of weeks as a sign of, no, we still have work to do in the market, and we still have positions to address, like Calvert-Lewin going down injured. Now you need to get an emergency replacement. Go out there. Broha, go and see if you can get him on loan for a year.
Doubt it.
Why not?
Doubt you'll get him.
Listen, why not? Chelsea are still out here shopping for strikers.
9 minutes
Lukaku's
of
gonna
added
stay.
time at the Emirates.
Give me Broha.
Yeah.
Oh, Lukaku's not staying though. He's going on loan to Roma.
Oh, okay.
From what the,
Mourinho will love that. Yeah.
But that's the hope is that maybe after a year, if we ask nicely, we might be able to do a swap for Tammy and get him back. That's the stuff that we dream of, but we're probably a bit delusional.
Dreaming of getting a player back that you sold.
Well, think about it. We don't want Lukaku anywhere near our training ground. You know, and I don't think you can even say as a Chelsea thing that. But can 10-man Forrest do what 10-man Fulham
I hope
have
not.
done?
For my sake, I hope not.
I hope they can.
I know you hope you do.
A massive 9 minutes.
I was just going to say quickly, Dyche is not going to be happy about the goal they conceded. He's walked in between two of the centre-backs. Very poor goal.
Who was at fault for the goal?
All four defenders.
All four of them.
All four of them. I'm putting all four of them on the table right now. All four of them. It was disgusting.
It's one where, as well, as you say, Fuad, with the home form, you get into a very bad habit every year of bad half of the season, sack the manager, get another one in that starts winning home games. You might stay up, you might not, but then you go into the new season, then you have the bad first half of the season because you haven't invested properly, sack the coach.
Sometimes you feel like when Dyche came in last year, okay, he's going to paper over the cracks or whatever, but I still thought in the summer Everton would definitely make a lot more moves and the squad would look a little bit more different than it did last year. Similar to like at Spurs.
Agreed.
I think if you look at Spurs, the squad last year, and you compare it to what we've kind of started with the first 3 games, there's been 5 or 4 signings in key areas, goalkeeper, left back, attacking midfield, number 9 changed, obviously, for better or worse, but it looks different to what it was last year, if that makes sense. And I just feel like with Dyche coming in, have you almost strapped him to kind of the relegation zone with this squad? Danjuma on loan, Nonto, where's that talk completely gone out of the window?
They've not backed him.
And I'm sorry, but if you're going hunting for 3 points every week with more pay, that's like going hunting with a blind dog.
But
I'm sorry.
Having said
just
that,
not good.
They're
it's
linked
not
to
good.
Beto,
To be fair, dogs
11 minutes.
A blind
they're
dog.
great at smelling though if they're blind. They'll
A
be
blind
even
one?
better, so they could hunt.
I mean, give me one with eyes any day, or a blind one.
They are
11 minutes at a time.
11 minutes added on at Old Trafford. We are in
But
to
Everton-
the sorry Tom. We are into the 94th minute of added time. Sorry, the 4th minute of past the 90 at the Emirates. 9 minutes to be added on. Still 2-2 there. That goal from Palhinha looks to have settled the game, but as I said, still 5 minutes to go at the Emirates, and there is around about 8 minutes to go at Old Trafford as well. Alanga coming on, going past Casemiro like he's not even there. Alanga, ball comes across. By the way, Onana just got a yellow card for time wasting as he gets a free kick in his favour.
Time wasting at home.
Well, we got first full time of the weekend.
Yes, and where has the final whistle blown?
at the GTEC Community Stadium.
You called it 1-1, didn't you?
I did call it 1-1,
I
hence
said
why I'm the
2-1.
first to call the full time.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here smugly, but
See, that's in West London. It looks sunny there.
it is.
Oh no, it's a little bit rainy.
Did it, Drake?
Yeah,
like a-
he's drenched.
just
Drowned rat.
finished raining and the sun's coming
Yeah,
out. Kind
little
of thing.
rainbow. Hopefully, get them around here as well soon. But that is, you're right, Tom. That is the first full time of the day. Brentford 1, Crystal Palace 1. Square, probably deserved in terms of both points. Both teams leaving with a point, so it's getting into that brain fart period where there's too much going on to concentrate on here. But yes, 94 minutes now gone at Old Trafford, still 3-2 as Kojo is very nervous, as you can tell. Still 7 minutes to go there.
Quick point for you, Fuad. Like, do you think that Everton linked with Beto? I think from Udinese. Do you think he could be the man that could make the difference?
Don't
for
know
Everton?
too much about him. I know was it 9 goals in 20 games last year? I mean, it sounds good, but
Trying to back him.
Hoyland had the same numbers and was being laughed at. But I guess when you're looking at different fees, it's different expectations. But I don't know. He could come in, make a difference. They've got the young Youssef Chermiti kid as well that they've signed for money as well. So I don't know.
Harrison as well.
I don't know if
good
these
signing,
are
that.
players that Deitch is going out there and saying I want, because they don't strike me as Deitch type players.
Agreed.
But I don't know. We'll see. Jeremy Sarmiento scores a 4th in the West Brom versus Middlesbrough as well just now. He's on loan from Brighton, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
He's going to be another one that
knowledge.
comes out.
There was someone in the chat earlier, Fuad, that wanted the Barnsley update because their phone was off. I can give you a really good update for yourself. You are going to win 2-0 away at Wigan. John McAtee has just scored for Barnsley in the 92nd minute in League One. It's nice to know that we've got Barnsley fans watching us, isn't it? It's not all about the big teams. It's about, with all due respect, the other teams that are in the English football pyramid as well. And I love that. I actually love that someone that is a Barnsley fan watches the show. Thank you very much. Shout out to Preston. They've beaten Swansea 2-1 at home. Another defeat for the Swans in the Championship. Dagenham and Redbridge have beaten Barnet 1-0 with an own goal in the 86th minute. We are around about 2 minutes from full time now at the Emirates. Exeter have just scored a winner at home to Reading in the last dying embers of the game. Reece Cole with the goal. Update scores: Everton, Wolves. Please, we do need to update that production. We need a 1 next to Wolves. Currently showing 1. Currently showing 0-0.
Arsenal, Fulham. Oh, at bottom, on the left, it does show. Does show 2-2 all. But
Arsenal, it's nail-biting end to the game for Arsenal. Can they do what they did against Bournemouth last season? It's 96.5 minutes gone. It's full time.
Boom.
Everton lose at home. The boos will be
I
rattling.
can hear them from here.
Honestly, the blues. That's what we call them.
it's
the blues.
not looking good.
It is not looking good for Everton. 3 games, 3 defeats. But look at this. Adama Traore going through all the way at the Emirates. What a save from Ramsdale. Adama Traore could have won it.
Fulham.
Right at the end. There is a minute to go. There is
West
a
London
minute to go
brothers.
at the Emirates now. Massive minute for Arsenal early on in the season. Manchester United still hanging on as well in the Scottish Premiership. Motherwell 2, Kilmarnock 1. Again, no goal for Celtic. That one looks to have finished 0-0 at home. Not the best blistering start for Brendan Rodgers on his return.
Bet they miss Ange, don't they? Huh? Yeah. We taking good care of him on this side, lads. Don't worry.
Will we see the full-time whistle coming up for both Manchester United and Arsenal?
Arsenal, please. Man United, no. Add another 5 minutes.
Come on, Martinelli, give us another spin.
Traore should have scored. Another easy win for City this season, says Da Pixies. Man of the match will be the refs this season, says Buffalo Soldier.
Every season.
What is going on in the Arsenal game? 10 seconds until that one should be up. But again, as we know, there's added time to the added time. As Zinchenko whips a wicked ball into the box. It's headed away by Fulham. Arsenal will carry on fighting right up until the final second, as we know. but Fulham still available on the counter-attack. There's been a really, really late goal from Jay Stansfield for Birmingham. They're now 2-1 up in the 95th minute. Also 98 minutes, Ryan Wintle has scored a massive winner for the Bluebirds Cardiff, and that Peterborough Derby game is now finished. Really interesting set of results in the Championship. Some real standout scorelines in that one. Real drama as well in the second tier, which I actually think is the 4th hardest league in the world to play in. No, fair enough. Right, let's go back to the Emirates.
I hear it though. In terms of competition and kind of mixing it up, you never know what you're gonna get from a like. It's the one league where I feel like you can go from genuine promotion contenders one year to genuinely rock bottom the next year.
Yeah, true.
You don't know.
True.
Look at QPR last year; they were top of the league in October, and I think we're in a relegation battle by the end of the season.
I see someone coming for the Liga. I respect the Liga, bruv.
Yeah, Liga.
Leagues out there, man.
Liga's been good in
Championship's
recent
harder
years.
than Liga. I'll give you that.
I'm trying to dislodge PSG.
No, I don't think so.
I'd love PSG
You got
to go.
Lille, you got
It's full
Marseille.
time at the Emirates.
So many
Boy,
great
yep.
teams.
Dropped
Say.
points for Arsenal.
And Arsenal
Well in
2-2
Fulham.
draw. Well
Well
played
in
Fulham.
Fulham.
10 men. They fought right up until the end. João Palhinha gets the goal. And Arteta not looking his happiest as he greets he's got his head in his hands. Right at the final second, there was a chance for Arsenal to actually go and win the game, which wasn't taken. Let's have a look at this. Oh no, we're not.
Arsenal fans are not happy.
What's
Thought
your
we were
carpet,
gonna
blood?
get to see.
No. We're not happy at the performance, not happy at the ref, not happy at is there a kind of
Still going
trigger
at
point?
Manchester United. There was a chance for Arsenal. So close there. But that game is now finished, and that's 2-2 as McTominay comes off for United on the 99th minute.
How many
but
more left?
confirmation of that 2-2 draw with Arsenal and Fulham. That's full time there. And we should be seconds away now from Manchester United winning this one 3-2, which has been a really, really tricky game for them.
Nerve-wracking game.
Forrest, no pushovers this year.
100 minutes we've now seen at Old Trafford. These 100-minute games are a real thing.
Says a
There's
lot.
less than a minute to go now in the Old Trafford game. Can Manchester United see this one out?
Unconvincing against Wolves. Got pretty much dismantled by Spurs, and now
Say that again,
It's
sorry?
more points
What'd
than
you
us, mate.
you won last week, man.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
It's more points than us, mate.
Well, I didn't catch it, so no. I
You
didn't-
haven't
yeah.
played well, but you got more points than we've got.
Yeah, no, I hear
and
that. I
you
hear
know,
I'm not trying to be too much of a complainer, but I just want the team to be a bit more assertive in their games.
absolutely.
You know?
And to go, 2-0 down, but it's all about the points at the end of the day.
Yeah, pulled it back and got 3 points. Well, almost.
You've got to say
Almost.
6 out of 9. It's not,
By the way, when you see what Onana did for the first goal, my goodness.
but
Wow.
Yeah, Onana not had the best start to his career at Manchester United.
No.
Quick predictions
What's his name?
for Onana. Cheers.
what's his name?
Onana. Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, said that. Funny the first time. Quick predictions around the table for Newcastle versus Liverpool tomorrow.
I think I went for a Newcastle win. 3-1 Newcastle, I'm going.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
2-1 Newcastle.
Wow.
3-0. 3-0.
I like the cold look Alex gave me, like, really? Really? Brother, I thought we were friends.
Listen, I'll see you Monday on your birthday.
Hey, no,
No
Sunday,
cake for
B,
you,
Sunday,
what?
B, Sunday, B. But then the celebration's already done, don't worry. I can hold it on that day, don't worry. If you do win.
Then I'll
all
be
good.
back to see you on
That
Monday.
ain't no problem. I collected my 3 points. It's all
Yeah,
good.
you've
That
done
ain't
your
no
business.
problem.
You've done your business. Big shout out to Mick the Prick, who says don't write off Liverpool.
I'm
Great
not.
name.
I'm not. But I
That's
think
a high foot
Newcastle
from
at home.
McTominay.
Yeah, it's because they're at home. That's why. That's why I'm saying
flags.
that.
2 wins in a row there. The only team.
Let me see you do 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Let me see you go do 3 in a row. Yeah.
Barnsley have beaten Wigan away 2-0. Great result for Barnsley. Real late chance here for Nottingham Forest. It gets whipped in the box by Morgan Gibbs-White, but surely this one has got to end.
Come on, ref. Blow it, man. This is 101 minutes. This is feeling like extra time at this point.
Keep it going till Forrest can nick one, please.
Oh, and there it is. This is going to be the whistle now. Yeah.
That the final whistle has now gone at Old Trafford.
Not yet. No.
Has it? No, it hasn't.
Oh.
Not yet. Still going.
Should games be going on
3
this long?
minutes we're now into at Old Trafford. Is there a late? Oh my! Oh, I thought
Come on, Lisandro.
Good value for
Lisandro.
fans at Old Trafford getting an extra 15 minutes almost.
I'm not mad at that, you know. I'm a fan of more minutes for the money that you pay. I'm all right. The Asses Drew at home says Sammy.
Wait, 100% record at home this year?
Yep.
100% record at
Yeah,
home this year?
if they win this game,
And
yeah.
it is full time. It is now
Yeah.
full time at Old Trafford. We won't lose any games.
Yeah. Have you won your home game so far?
Yeah.
No, draw against Liverpool.
And then
Unbeaten, no, we can say.
right, there you go. Manchester United have finally won 3-2. Kojo looks to the skies and thanks whoever's up there because he's seen his team go from 2-0 down in the first 4 minutes to then going 3-2 up and winning the game against Nottingham Forest. 10 men. Relief is the
Relieved.
word for you right now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's 3 weeks of games, 2 weeks of where I've been relieved and one where I've been utterly pissed off. But, but we win today. We've got 6 points on the table. So, yeah, man.
Baby steps.
Yeah, better than last season at the start when we got
Yeah.
destroyed by Brighton and Brentford. So, yeah, man. I'm happy. Good
Kojo
win.
happy, Manchester United fans happy in the chat. Guys, thank you so much for being with us again on DR Sports. This has been the Saturday Football Show. You know what we do. We keep you informed from 2:30 all the way up until 5 with all the 3 o'clock kickoffs in and around the country, in the football pyramid and much more. We debate, not maths, we debate topics. Don't we? So that's right. Oh, there could be a late finish at Portman Road. It's now 4-3 to Leeds for Ipswich in that game. Guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's been a really good show. Thank you, Kojo, for all of your help today. Fuad, as always. Massive
always,
happy
my brother.
birthday for tomorrow.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
happy
hey,
birthday,
hey,
hey.
happy
Come
birthday
on,
for
come on,
tomorrow,
come on,
mate.
come on.
Yeah.
Great work.
August birthday
on
crew.
DR
Yeah.
Sports. We love to see it. And Tom, as always, my
Thanks,
friend,
bro.
thank you. Didn't
Yeah.
give you a spud. Sorry about that,
yeah,
Kojo.
love
Thank
it.
you, everyone that's joined us today. Don't forget, we'll be back next week and the week after. Actually, I don't think the week after because there's an international break. So,
Yeah, I think there is, yeah.
So we will be back next week. Lots more games to look forward to. I don't even know what they are, but I'm sure they'll be great when you've got a panel like this on DR Sports. Right, thank you so much for joining us. Remember to like the video, comment and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I've been AGT. This has been the Saturday Football Show. Take care.